What's going on, y'all? Sorry I am late, but welcome to the show. Another episode of the LA Project. Had something that I wanted to review today, and definitely want to open up the panel and talk to some of y'all, see what you guys think about this topic. Is anime for people of color, especially Black people? There's been some things that kind of came to my attention, kind of about the subject, so I wanted to talk about it with y'all. But before we get to that, I just had a couple of other thoughts. Don't have anything to do with the topic, but just some things that were on my mind, especially after this past week of shows. Shouts out to my co-hosts on Tough Talk Thursdays, Izzy Bands, DJ Witch Doctor, Rogue C, and also the Lady Show. Shouts out to y'all. But sometimes the topics can, they kind of they stay on my mind for a little while. So I don't know, just been thinking. I've come to understand that a lot of these disagreements that we have online is due to a lack of respect and for each other, and even sometimes it translates to respecting ourselves, right? Black people, we complain about our image, or we definitely have. We've been through a lot. Y'all are, we've all are aware of the different stereotypes, the different images, even when it comes to animation, cartoons and stuff like that. How they will portray us in movies. Of course, it reflects in the music, and even the news would kind of pick and choose how they would portray us, right? And I'd like to say, for the most part, that tactic is pretty much over. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't happen as much as we used to see, especially like if you grew up in the 90s or anything like that, or even beyond. If you paid attention, we've kind of came a long way when it comes to people using those types of tactics to control our image. Um, we have more representation, honestly, than we ever have before. We have Black politicians, CEOs of companies. Even when it comes down to music, people are able to become independent artists and have more control over what type of music they put out, who their audience is, and things like that, right? So we've got way more control of our image than we did in the past. We've even got Black superheroes, shouts out to Black Panther, right? We'll also kind of get into that later on in the show. However, it seems like instead of outside forces like media and politics dictating our image, our actual actions, like modern day actions and attitudes towards each other, is kind of what's changing that. That's what's dictating our image to the rest of the world, right? What we say about each other, how we treat each other, how we regard each other. It's saying a lot. We never know who's listening to these live streams, and shouts out to everybody that's watching on let me see here. We got on Twitch and on YouTube. Shouts out to y'all. Make sure that you share, like, and subscribe to the show, especially if there's somebody that you would like to, that might be interested in the topic, because I will be opening up the panel later on. But let's get back to the image, right? What are we saying by the way that we are treating each other, especially on these panels? How are we treating each other that indicates that we have a good image for each other? Let's keep it real. We don't know each other, right? We kind of know, we get familiar and comfortable with, I guess, each other's tendencies, right? What we're known to do, what we're not known to do, say, right? But we don't know each other yet, and still, when we have these interactions, they can be extremely vicious for no reason when you think about it. Because like I said, why is there so much heat for a complete stranger? Yet here we are, and we have these situations pop up every day. Well, it seems like every time that we click onto these onto one of these channels or participate in one of these panels. When we come on and we do respond in these unnecessary ways, it proves in one way or another what we do think about each other, right? That we can't be trusted, might be unworthy of common decency, right? Or worthy of certain things, or might even be less than somebody else, right? And if you are someone that treats people who look like you in that way unwarranted, you're basically saying that everything the man said in the past had been right all along. And there's no need to discuss topics like blackface, culture misappropriation, or stereotypes in general that disparage us if that is the mentality that you're going to have against perfect strangers online. Shouts out to everybody in the building. I will be, you know, getting through the roll call shortly, but I had some of these thoughts and then we'll start the show. All right. Y'all make sure that you like the video, please. And if you'd like to, I have a more convenient way. If you'd like to support the show, it's pinned to the top. I did put together a buy me a coffee. So go ahead, buy me a coffee. You know, you can stay. It's a little bit easier. I know a lot of people don't like to use Cash App and things like that. I will keep your names anonymous, but I will thank you for your donations. All right. But if we're going to, like I said, disregard each other's feelings, experiences, or even kind of just treat each other in a unsavory way just because we think that we can, again, we're telling the world and telling each other exactly how we feel about Black people. I don't know why we can't just use decency. Now, I understand sometimes you got prior situations, interactions, beefs, whatever, right? And I get it. I'm not going to tell nobody how to feel. However, again, if you are not familiar with this person, don't know them from a can of paint, I don't understand all the hostility. Now, I don't know. I've told this story before because the attitude, like I said, that we have towards each other, and let's just bring up the opposite sex because it comes up on a daily basis, right? So let's talk about the attitude that we have towards the opposite sex and how it manifests or how it dictates the type of results that we have and also the types of people that we attract, right? Now, certain things I feel like are supposed to make you more aware. You know, if we have bad experiences, bad times, whatever, especially with dealing with the opposite sex, it's supposed to make you aware. It's not supposed to make you bitter. That's just my opinion, though. But I wonder the attitude that most carry online is displayed because in the end, that's how they really feel about themselves. Again, just mirroring, projecting how they feel about themselves or the people that come from their family or the people that they've chosen to associate themselves with and might have, like I said, went through some bad times, right? There be the attitude. I wonder if, like I said, if that's more of a reflection about how they feel about themselves because, you know, even if you aren't necessarily at the level that you want to be in terms of life, you should want to hang around successful people. It's very motivating, you know what I'm saying? And it helps you get to a little bit closer to where you want to be just by associating and surrounding yourself with more with things that actually align with who you really are, right? But when we really think about certain people with such negative mindsets, it really, again, it makes me wonder, do they not feel worthy of being surrounded by successful and adjusted and mature people? And instead, they would rather hang around folks they can identify with, which says a lot, right? Identifying with certain things to me is just wild, but I'm not here to judge anybody's life. I know we didn't have any say so in our upbringings, right? All right. So this whole argument about the manosphere, right, is that it means different things to different people. It's not just a generalized, um, I guess, ideology, which I thought that there was. At first it started off as self-improvement, men really trying to get their finances and themselves together. And then, of course, we've seen it change to women, 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 what they're doing wrong and what they need to do, how they are the problems and the basic root of all the problems that currently are happening with men, right? But now that we're hearing that technically the manosphere means different things to different people, right? And I get it. Everyone is not, like I said, an extremist and can find certain benefits in certain ideologies. That's not just exclusive to, this, I guess, even males. Like, let's take, for example, even feminism. There's definitely levels to that. A lot of people focus on the extreme side, and that's what is causing all of these problems. However, a lot of women who are on, especially if they actually volunteer to become, to participate on panels, they're not trying to they're not really on the extreme side, or they wouldn't really be there. You know what I'm saying? However, that's kind of the way that it's seen, even though there are levels. Some people are extreme, but it's just like, do you not understand how to decipher the difference? Depending on who you're talking to, it's a little, it's something that happens all the time, but it's still quite alarming. Especially if the manosphere can have so many different meanings to different people, right? Not all women have an extreme mentality, but are generally treated, especially on panels, as a hostile or for some reason in need of immediate correction, right? Like, we don't know how to talk to men. We didn't grow up with brothers, fathers, uncles, anything like that. And we just, right off the bat, not even knowing us, just this is how we are regarded. And even though the fellas say they're not all the same, whenever one of them recognizes the aggressive way a woman has been handled, especially on a panel, that's when all of a sudden they're called a simp. I've seen this the past week. There's certain guys, especially, who feel like they can just say anything to anybody and there's no response that's ever supposed to come afterwards. Like, somebody's supposed to just shut up and take it for some reason. And I'm not understanding that whole thought process or even notion, but it happens, right? In the levels of manosphere. So yeah, if a guy notices that a woman is being handled in an unnecessary way, they're gonna be like, can you chill out, please? Oh, here comes the simps. Like, I don't understand why y'all do this to each other. And it makes it clear to me that some men just want to see a woman treated badly. Like, that whole revenge thing, again, from somebody else that's not even associated with the person that you're talking to, but for some reason, whenever you hear their voice, it just takes you back to that moment of pain, right? And you just can't control yourself. They'll respond in the chat or openly ask on the panel, why are you trying to save her? Have y'all ever heard that? It's actually kind of disturbing. Why are you trying to save her? That's crazy. But when a woman is having a discussion with a man and she's giving him quite a verbal thrashing, and here will come another guy to come and defend and form up with their brethren in case, because he needs some support. There needs to be a 2-on-1 for some reason. That's when they become feminists. When they feel disrespected, that's when the treatment can be equal. That's when they don't see man or woman, right? So I think a lot of these people are feminists on the low and don't even realize it based off of that thought, just that thought or idea alone. Because again, why are you trying to save her is wild, right? However, Men are going to cuss at each other. They're going to do streams about each other. They'll do songs and AI and do all these things, but they are treated with a different level of respect from one another when they get into these altercations, because they'll be quick to make up or watch their words versus when they talk to a woman. But at the same time, they want to be with a woman. I don't understand how that's going to work. Coexisting. I hope to God, that whoever you decide to be with, you do not respond to them in the same ways that you respond to these complete strangers, i.e. us, right? I hope not, because I don't see that being conducive at all, or any woman who's going to take that in 2025 going into 2026, man. But he's all like these attitudes and these demonstrations of like how men and women are supposed to interact. They're coming from somewhere, right? They claim to be from experiences, especially a lot of these guys who talk about women in general, as if they know generally what women are going to do. I don't know how many men have, a network of women who they actually know. Observing them in different, underneath certain circumstances might not be the best way to judge exactly in like what generally somebody is going to do, right? They say all women or Black women, again, in general, as if they've had so much experience with these women, right? As if there aren't different types of Black women. We get ready to talk about Black women in anime. That's a different sector. That's definitely not no sexy red level. So who are you guys choosing to interact with? Who are you choosing to pursue? Because obviously the nerd girl, the Black nerd, she's not good enough. But who told you that? Yourself? Your peers? Or who are you really trying to impress? Those things need to be thought about before you start acting ugly and blaming other people for how you really feel inside. At the end of the day, experiences are what brings wisdom. Okay. Bad experiences, like I said, they need to be worked out in terms of just what you can take from them. In my personal opinion, when you go through difficult times, it's to prepare you for something else down the road, because there's always going to be something. Life is not, it can be good, but nobody said it was going to be easy. You got to be able to endure in some type of way, right? So if you don't go through some things to have your little practice in life, you're not really going to know what to do when something real happens, So actually living and experiencing things is what is going to bring on that wisdom. And if it's not worked out, like I said, the opportunity to cultivate that wisdom turns into bitterness instead. And a lot of people are bitter. They are bitter because they choose not to work through those hard times, right? There's so many different things that you can try to put the blame on, but is it going to improve the situation? There's so many things and too many things that you cannot control, but you can control your reaction to it. You can control your attitude, your mind state, right? And a lot of people are bitter, and then they repeat what they've heard from other people that confirms how they feel. The feeling has nothing to do with what actually is. And they choose to ignore the fact that existing behind a computer screen is no substitute for actual living. Now, that's the real red pill. All right. Take it or leave it. Let's start the show, y'all.
The world is a real place where things aren't perfect. It's all about the journey. And where are you going? Fire in my eyes, I keep on growing. This is a little personal. doctor.
All right, y'all. Let's get this show on the road. All right. Let's welcome you guys into the building. I didn't forget about you guys. Thanks for riding with me, listening to my, my quick monologue. Just some thoughts that I had after, like I said, these past shows. Give me 1 second. Let me turn this down. And let's welcome y'all in here. All right, not that low. All right, whether you're watching on the horizontal side or the vertical side, welcome in the building. We're going to go ahead and shout some of y'all out. All right. Again, if you'd like to support the show, there is a link to buy me a coffee pinned to the top of the chat. If you'd like to do it any other way, of course, it's $ the LA Project on Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal. All right, so we got L Boogie in the building. Happy Saturday to you as well. Common Man, we got you in the building. Salute. Appreciate you popping up. Mr. Center of the World, I'm doing good. Hope that you're having a great afternoon. You don't like White Panther? Well, I guess technically there was a comic book, and if it was called Black Panther, then they stuck to the script, right? But I don't know. I'm pretty sure there's been plenty of White Panthers on Halloween. All right, can I explain the topic real quick? Yeah, for sure. Well, apparently there has been some chitter chatter in the anime community that is basically saying that Black people who like to dress up and cosplay their favorite, anime characters, the Sailor Moons, the different anime characters, superheroes, things like that. I'm not a big anime girl, so I can't just rattle them off. However, there is a situation where there was a young anime influencer that was being bullied because of her race, and basically saying that she shouldn't be participating into this because these characters aren't Black and blah blah blah. So we're going to talk about, is this something that, what's wrong with Black people doing a little cosplay, right? So that's what we're talking about today. Who else we got up in here? We got the Cynical One. Shouts out to you. Happy weekend, y'all. Hope that y'all got your paycheck is looking nice. You sitting back and relaxing and saving up for the holidays. Ladies love me. One. The topic is how she hates white men. No, if that's what you got from it, it's a lot of selective hearing, but it's okay. I'm used to, detractors. It's cool. Folks hear what they want to hear regardless, right? A-Dub. What's going on? Double tap the screen. Yes, if you are on the vertical side, double tap the screen to give a thumbs up on the video. All right. Appreciate y'all tuning in. All right. Who else we got up in here? H&M. Yeah, see, a lot of Black people love anime. I mean, before that, a lot of Black people I knew loved kung fu movies and stuff. So there's always been some type of connection and interest. So I don't even know why they're trying to act like it's something new. Keon, what's going on? What's up to you? Hope that you're having a good night. Hey, we got Creative Solutions. Hey, love. Hope that you're doing good. All right, who else we got in here? We'll get started. We got Michelle Thomas. What's going on, sweetie? All right. Who else we got up in here? If you're watching in the clouds, let me shout you out. Let me say thanks for coming through. Drop me a comment. All right. It looks like it's everybody. Oh, Barb, what's going on? Hope that you're having a great evening. All right. All right, so we're going to get into it. I'm not going to be paying too much attention to the chats, but I will be opening the panel if anybody would like to talk about this situation. So again, we're talking about, what should Black people be allowed to, and I know that's a weird word, but I didn't know how else to really put it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they're saying in this situation that they are upset that African Americans are styling themselves as popular anime and Marvel and superhero and different cartoon characters like that, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to know what you guys thought about it. I know it's something that I've seen kind of grow in popularity as I've gotten older. Heard about people going to the different conventions and things like that. A lot of especially like fathers who have like daughters and stuff like that, they love doing that type of stuff with their little girls. Especially if their daughters are into the different characters and they want costumes made and stuff like that. It's just something. It's just fun. I don't really see a problem with it. But I don't know. Apparently anime isn't for everybody. I guess we can watch it. But again, let's talk about what happened this it's about 2-3 weeks ago. There was unfortunately a YouTube influencer. Let me pull this up. Give me a second. By the name of Ash, aka Squid Kid, beautiful chocolate young lady who liked to dress up in cosplay, and she unfortunately lost her life. I didn't review the video, but I believe that she took her own life due to cyberbullying. So let's take a look at just kind of what happened overall and how did we even get here? Because even the sentiment is it's something that I wasn't aware of. I didn't know that this was a problem to people who enjoyed anime or felt entitled to it. And let me just hold on, because I almost forgot. Didn't Elizabeth Taylor and a lot of other white people play Egyptians and famous Bible characters, when they weren't supposed to be of that complexion historically? Anyway, I guess that's irrelevant, right? Certain groups can do what they want, and for us, we need to stick to the script and just, stick within our own lanes and what's for us, apparently. So let's talk about it. I know, fun fact, right? Boondocks is an anime, and lots of people love that, that show, whether it be white or Black, right? But I mean, how would you feel if you saw a white person dress up for Halloween as Huey or Riley? All right, this is gonna be interesting. Let's get into this review. Just give me 1 second. I'm gonna get this pulled up. And this is a short one. This is a short video, and I do have a longer video for us to go over if anybody wants to come up and watch it with us. Okay. Yeah, I'm getting a warning already. The following content may contain self-deletion or self-harm topics. So this will be a trigger warning for anyone who is sensitive to this topic. I suggest that you might want to sit this one out because it is pretty much the center. Well, it's not the center of the live, but it's one of those extreme cases that I felt like we had to bring it up because this is not just these aren't just words, this is actually affecting people in one way or another. Our opinions of what other perfect strangers are doing is causing some type of harm. Everybody's not cut for the criticism of the world, and nobody says that, hey, well, I mean, that's just the way it is. But it's like, ain't nobody tell you to say nothing about whatever the hell I'm doing anyway. Okay, so for people to be feeling entitled to gang up on folks with that, that mob mentality, I don't know. It's cowardly. And she's so young. She's 19 years old. You feel me? So let's get this pulled up. Yeah, let's set up some doves for Ash right now. aka Squid Kid. All right, let's pull this up. This is fair use, using this video for commentary and entertainment purposes. Well, not entertaining, but you know what I mean. You gotta say it, right? Let's get this up. All right, give me a second. Let me just make sure this is in the right format here. Is he getting on my nerves? Okay, perfect. All right, let me just turn the music down a little bit and we'll get into this.
A tragic loss to the cosplay community occurred in November 2025. One of its popular influencers,
Damn. So this just happened November of 2025. So this is very recent. Like I said, maybe about a month ago.
Ashley, also known on the internet as Ash or at Squid Kid 1111.
Look how pretty she is. And like I said, I don't know who she's dressing up like. I'm not well versed in the different characters and things like that. But man, that skin with them different colors and stuff be popping, man. Should be popping.
Passed away at just 19 years old. Ash, who used they/them pronouns, was known for their outlandish cosplays that often paid homage to anime and Japanese culture. While much of their content was appreciated by her fans, they reportedly dealt with struggles behind the scenes. As fans mourn their loss, many are wondering what caused Ash's death. Here's everything we know. The news of Ash's death was confirmed on their Instagram on November 13, 2025. The statement addressed
So a month today.
The cosplayers' fans, friends, and family and reflected on the impact they made on the cosplaying community. For the past 7 years, Squid Kid, or Ashley, has shared their love of cosplay across the internet, the post read. They met many of you on Instagram, but also at conventions, at clubs and across campus, at professional photoshoots, and other day-to-day interactions. They genuinely loved the transformation and magic of cosplay, and connecting with others through that community, the tribute continued. So it is with the heaviest of hearts that we inform you of Ashley's passing. The Instagram tribute didn't discuss any details regarding Ash's cause of death. However, according to anime fan Instagram account A Dose of Anime, they reportedly took their own life. The account posted several photos of Ash dressed as anime characters and claimed that multiple sources within the cosplay community believed Ash's suicide was caused by the cyberbullying they received as a dark-skinned black woman acting as traditional Japanese characters. Ash's death was heavily influenced by relentless online racism, colorism, and harassment they faced for portraying light-skinned.
And I'm sorry, but I gotta say this because my youngest one loves some anime, and every time that I look at the screen, the shows and the scenarios, they seem to take place somewhere in Asia. However, all of the characters got blonde hair, blue eyes, pale ass skin. None of the characters look Asian at all. But yet they're like the face, the poster child of this genre that's called anime. That definitely is heavily influenced with Asian culture. So it's just strange that even in that instance, that it's Asian culture, but all of the characters appear to be white. And now the fact that brown skinned people are enjoying and celebrating and participating in the genre that they like as well, then it's a problem. I just want y'all to, sometimes, I don't know, my mind be working in a different way. Y'all got to excuse me. If I'm doing too much, just let me know in the chat, man.
Or non-black characters, including Ellen Joe, the account stated.
All right, so again, I just picked the short one to get, short video to get a quick synopsis of it. This is a longer video, but again, y'all can come and join me when it comes to the overall system. We may be talking about there's racism in cosplay now and in anime. Give me 1 second. Take this down. Uh-oh. Let's see if my camera gonna act right today. Okay. Okay, now we good. My sound is breaking up. Uh-oh. Give me a second. Hold on, y'all. All right, sounds like I'm okay. Do I sound okay? If I'm sounding choppy or broke, okay, cool. We back. All right, let me do this really quick. Why not? There's a feature. I'll be forgetting I can put the comments here on the screen. It's so cool. All right. And all right. So yeah, I just wanted to get a quick overview of what ended up happening with this young lady. Now, it'll go in this next video is supposed to go into a little bit more depth, like I said, of the overall tone of the anime community. I don't know if this stuff is happening on like message boards, or if people are leaving comments under like on these people's videos, you know what I mean, in terms of the cyberbullying. I'm not sure if these people were doing live streams or what type of content they were, like how they were presenting their content, if these were pre-recorded and premieres, or if these were live shows where people could interact with them, where they could see them. Because I get that'll be very difficult, especially for a 19-year-old. People don't understand, like, these are still kids, and in my opinion, especially in the brain, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get it, technically she would be an adult, she probably had responsibilities, had a job, right? But mentally, when it comes to knowing who you are and being secure in that, we know that a 19-year-old is not at that point. They're not at that pace yet. So being exposed to so much negativity or negative, feedback about yourself, I can only imagine how tough that would have been for her, or tough for anybody, you know what I'm saying? But to the point where it's like, you just get me out of here, like, damn. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Okay, I'm good. I'm back. Cool. Thank y'all so much. Yeah, I did hear that, and I do remember that. I do remember her always being a Black character, even in the old school, cartoons and stuff like that. So some of us, definitely some of the characters, I guess, are, traditional. They were written and created as African American, characters. So I guess that they're saying that's the only ones that we should be able to depict, but a lot of people like the other ones, you know what I'm saying? Like, for obvious reasons. I mean, especially for me, I remember me growing up, being, an avid watcher of a lot of the modern shows, family shows, TV shows that will come on, especially in the early 90s and stuff like that. And we all know, I mean, there was a handful of Black casts, of course we got the Cosby Show, we got Family Matters, we know that, right? But then when we start talking about South Central, Thea, of course, if we have Moesha, the Parkers, certain things, it wasn't as, they weren't as prevalent as the Full Houses, as the Home Improvements, the Boy Meets World, and then of course all the Disney shows. What's going on, Tit for Tat? What's going on, sweetie? But yeah, so we're just now, like I said, starting to get representation where we're seeing more characters in film and on TV being played by people who look like us. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people, like I said, a lot of Black girls, and Black women I know, like Sailor Moon, are you telling me that they can't dress up to be her? They're not making their face white, to look like her. They're still using their skin tone. They're just putting on the outfit, doing the makeup. What's wrong with that? I don't know. But y'all can come kick it with me while we go over this next video to see exactly, like I said, what is the fuss, to the point where this is I mean, it's a trend. I mean, it's even to the point where my daughter said that they heard something about, this whole situation with anime and stuff like that. So it must be something serious, huh? So let me just hold on, let me get plugged in real quick. All right. And oh, a second, hold on.
Doctor?
Give me 1 second. Yo, let me get a mic check real quick.
What's good with you?
Hey Keon, what's going on? How are you?
Not much. Anime is definitely up my alley. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm a big anime person, so you kind of hitting a big heart, for me. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, it's just a lot of people I know, like I said, like black people and stuff, they love them some anime. So this was kind of like a surprise, like,
Yeah.
And even before then, before there was a lot of access to like anime, like, shows here in the States, especially. I mean, like all my cousins and stuff, they loved kung fu movies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a good
Anything with
point.
that type of theme to it. So I don't understand why they trying to act like this is something new.
Yeah, the whole anime thing. Because I ain't gonna lie, because I was young when I would say I'm probably the first generation that was like actually introduced to anime. Because it was like a whole Cartoon Network. Naruto, One Piece, that was all brand new when I was a kid. Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, all those was brand new, but I loved it. I ain't gonna lie to you, I loved it. So it's like, but it ain't nothing new though. Like you said, the Kung Fu flicks, niggas like Wu-Tang, nigga, like come on, we got a whole
Exactly.
like legendary group named after Kung Fu type shit. Like, so yeah, you ain't wrong.
That's something like they just I don't know what's going on with them, but I got another video if you want to hear exactly, I guess, some more about this what's going on in the cosplay and anime community when it comes to, like I said, us presenting ourselves in this way or going to the conventions and the festivals and stuff. Like even here in Atlanta, there's something like called it's like a Black Fairy convention.
What?
So like they'll be having on their little ears and the wings and like all kinds of shit. They'll go down to Piedmont Park and do their little thing, man. Like it be men and women. That should be crazy. But hey, they're into it. So I don't know, man.
That's to me that's a little different than just being an anime enjoyer. Once you start putting like the furries and fairies and all. Once you start dressing up and going to conventions and stuff, that's a little you go a little too far for me. I ain't gonna lie to you. You go a little too far.
So?
A little bit, because that's not required. Like you don't like ain't nobody expecting you to dress up like Naruto for you to be a Naruto fan. Like that's just doing too much. I mean, I wouldn't mind doing that. I would do that. Like I wanted to go to Comic because I live in Indiana, so we have a Comic-Con down there every year. So I wouldn't mind doing that. But yeah, that's a little too far. That's a little too far.
Okay, well, I mean, I guess it's more of like a comfort level. Some people, they love like Halloween and anything that has like a party that has a theme to it, where they got to dress in code and what I'm saying, to a certain to a certain extent in a certain theme. Some people love that shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But so I think it may be just like a comfort level. But I mean, if you're around a whole bunch of other people and that's everybody's somebody else, you know what I mean, dressed up that way, you still wouldn't feel comfortable. It'd be too much for you.
Nah, see, because it's like me personally, I'll still be the same person. So like I could be around a whole bunch of people and I could be dressed in street clothes, you know what I mean, and still be comfortable around those people. Will I participate? Probably not. probably not. It would have to be a good, something that I would really, really like. But yeah, as in just going out in costume, nah, I wouldn't be doing that. But yeah, I'd be comfortable.
All right. Well, it's like, yeah, I've definitely seen it both ways. I mean, if I had like I would do it, you know what I mean? At least like once, you know what I mean? To see what it was like and all that stuff. But I mean, I know some people like who actually make their costumes, you know what I mean? That take their
Yeah.
kids, like, and all kinds of stuff. They make it like a little event, like with at least one of their children. It might not be all their kids that's into it, but if they have a kid that's into it, you know, then they'll actually participate. And I think that's kind of cool. But
Yeah, I would do that. Yeah, you definitely got a storm look to you. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like
but she got the all white hair though. Like I'm not there. Y'all be trying to speed me up, man.
Man, she was 20 something. That girl was like 24 years old. We can make that happen. That ain't nothing new. We can make that happen to you here. But you definitely got like a storm. Yeah, I can see why people. Yeah, I can see it. I can see it.
Yeah, I think that I got that nickname when I first got online. Yeah, so I'm like, okay, I'll take it. What's going on, Third Ward? Good to see you.
But I do. Let me say this really, right? Because there is an aspect I feel like even with the subject you talking about, right? There's racism everywhere, right? Like we know that there's some type of racism. There's somebody that's not going to like you because you're different, and that's everywhere. But when it comes to like mainstream anime or mainstream, them wanting, because you got to think they're Chinese and they're literally creating blonde hair, blue eyed people themselves. So I don't think if it was racist, it would be more racist towards themselves, like a self hatred type of thing, if anything. But I don't think it's something that black people should look at it as like they're trying to portray like this is the perfect person or something like that. It's just maybe it is. Maybe Chinese people do think that's probably like the perfect person, but like it's just a story. That's how I look at it.
Yeah. Well, I think like for especially the people who are participating now are kind of like similar to like you know what I'm saying? Like people who were kind of born exposed, and having a variety of different shows that they could actually watch, and just like my sister, she was born, I have an older sister, she's a little bit older than me. She was born in the 70s, right? So she liked Sailor Moon and she liked Hello Kitty and stuff like that. Just some people just like little novelty stuff, you know what I'm saying? Or they just like the character for whatever reason. They grew up with childhood, of course you got all types of merchandise, toys and stuff that your parents might buy you.
Exactly.
And it's like now they want to dress up like like that person for Halloween or for whatever reason, so it's like I don't think that at least the black people I'm seeing, and I don't think they're doing it because of anything else besides they just like that character. You know what I mean? They feel like a connection to it, or they just, like I said, have that memory from childhood or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Now that's interesting what you said, about how the actual creators of these shows are making the majority or damn near all of the characters appear white.
Pure white, yeah.
Like they were all army kids or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, because I done heard this before. Like, where it's like, okay, they're pushing this white narrative, but it's like, I mean, yeah, but we gotta think these people are Chinese. Like, so if they are, it's a self hatred thing. I feel more than it is. They're pushing a narrative. But go ahead.
No, for sure. I mean, they're definitely like more on the encouraging the fairer skin and things like that. So yeah, but it's like I never really thought about this. Okay, or thought about that. Now, what do you think about this? Because earlier, somebody in the chat mentioned or reminded us that Boondocks is an anime, popular anime, right? And white people also enjoy that show. So what if a white person dressed up like Huey, with the hair and like all that stuff? Like, do you think, like, how would you feel about that?
Okay, let's go back to the Boondocks being an anime. I disagree.
You disagree?
Now, I disagree. The Boondocks is animated in an anime type of form, but it's not an anime. It's almost like Pokemon. Pokemon is animated in an anime type of form, but I wouldn't consider Pokemon to be anime because it is so. Okay, so let me break it down. Maybe I'm too much of a nerd for this conversation. I ain't gonna lie, I'm too much of a-
Enlighten me, because I'm just like, especially before, because like I said, the next video I haven't even watched it yet, but they could be, you could be explaining something that they could be saying later on. So yeah, break it down for us.
Yeah, because
What's up to everybody in the building? Sorry.
Boondocks to me is like a adult animation. Even though it's in anime form, it's adult animation. So like it to me, I would consider Boondocks to be more like Family Guy, The Simpsons, um, American Dad. You know, that's what I would consider it. But when you say it's an anime, I do see what you mean by that, because it is in anime form. Like literally they fight like it's an anime. So I would see that. But if a white person dressed up like Huey, come on. Like what the fuck, what are we doing? Like nigga,
Okay,
you lost the plot.
Okay, so again, when it comes to black people who like I said, they're Sailor Moons. I'm sorry, I keep going back to that one. That's the only one I know. But when it comes to black people, participating in doing this, and how is that okay? And if that's okay, then how is it not okay for the white person to be Huey?
Because okay, so the difference to me, right now, it just because when I think, I ain't gonna lie, maybe this is a flaw on me. When I hear you ask, can a white person be Huey, I'm thinking of this nigga coming out like with black skin. You know what I mean? But like if he just came out with a big afro and a brown shirt, a brown open up button down shirt with a white t-shirt, like how Huey dressed, then I don't know. I don't think I would have. I don't know, because it's still like a white man with a big afro, still kind of crazy. But I don't know. I'll probably be open to it.
Okay, I just thought that was interesting, because I never really thought about it until that was brought up. So okay,
yeah, and you gotta think too, like when the black women, when they dress up like Sailor Moon and stuff, they still black. You know what I mean? They just got the costume on. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Exactly. I mean, that's what I think would be the difference. I could see, if the skin tone was trying to get changed and all that stuff, but that's not what they're doing. They're just wearing, the wigs and doing the makeup and the outfits. That's pretty much all I see. I even found on my thumbnail, I found a black He-Man. I was like, okay.
But that's another thing too, right? Because LA, I think another problem is that I feel like black people want like the mainstream people, like Superman. They want a black Superman. You know what I mean? That's kind of, and I think that's kind of wrong in my opinion, because to me, Superman isn't Superman because he's a white man. Superman is Superman because of what he does. You know what I mean? Because he protects people, because he's invulnerable to bullets, because he can leap over tall buildings. Like that's what makes Superman. But it seems like some black folks don't fuck with Superman unless Superman's a black man, and that's kind of strange to me a little bit. You know what I
mean? I didn't know that was a concern. I don't really know. I mean, I was just me growing up. I was so used to everybody being white. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like in terms of superheroes and any type of like really hero, you know what I'm saying? Like most of them were more portrayed as, being white. So it never really was a big deal to me. I more like think about other qualities of Superman to be like, wait a minute, because he's just like, he's supposed to be this, super dynamic person, but he's just weak for Lois, man. Like it's just, it's other things I'll be thinking about when it comes to Superman, like not his skin tone. I'll be like, shoot, that's how the writer, Stan Lee, if that's how he was created, then shit, that's just how he's supposed to be. But,
exactly, because it's like when, like that's what people. I feel like that's why this is probably a relevant conversation, because we really on the same page. Like his relationship with Lois, that's what matters. Him as a person, not what color. But anyway, it seems like we on the same page, so we can move on.
And this is an interesting comment. Shouts out to L Boogie. She said, "Black people want representation, but we have to create our own characters." I totally agree. I mean, there should be more African American, like animators, or more companies, black-owned companies. Hold on, there was one that somebody put into the chat earlier. Damn, I should have started. Give me 1 second. Because I know there are some out there. There it is. Appreciate that, Tiff. Black Sands Entertainment. So yeah, if we start actually creating more characters, and it's like that will kind of eliminate this argument, because at least the characters were meant to be black. You know what I mean? And so it's like it'd be nothing but appropriate. But let's go ahead and bring this video up and see what they talk about, because I don't know. Like I said, I kind of more come from I'm not really, like I said, I don't know really what to think of it 100%, because I'm so, like I said, this has just been happening for so long, seeing movies about Cleopatra that, they're supposed to be about Egyptians, and that whole cast was white. You know what I mean? Like, this stuff has been happening like since forever. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't think that it's that serious for people to be bullying folks and being so extreme to be racist about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that part is extreme to me. Like, I don't know, but that's the only thing that I have about, like, in terms of thoughts. But yeah, so I'm pretty, I think we are pretty much on the same page. But let's see exactly what they talk about on this video.
Hinata isn't black. Hinata isn't black. Hinata isn't black. Hinata isn't black.
She gonna be black today. She gonna be black today. She gonna be black today.
Oh my God.
She gonna be black today.
Unfortunately, whenever I cosplay Momo Ayase, I do get a lot of racism. I don't know, they all use the same jokes, and it's like, it's getting a little old, but they will do the same thing, and especially my last video where I
say
it was just filled with racism the whole time. And I was like, dang, like, it was crazy. They would say, oh, wrong color. Oh, she's not black, she's white. And I just get a little confused, because it's like, cosplay is literally for fun. Like, I'm not trying to pretend to be this character. I'm just doing it for fun. And I feel like they treat it as if, like, trying to take Momo Ayase's identity. No one is trying to take Momo's identity. I'm just cosplaying her because I like the anime. That's just how the internet is, though. It's always going to be.
Seeing a black anime character is so funny. And it's like a character, like, is black. Like, their skin tone is dark. They got, the braids or the locks in their head, or they just got, like, they got the nigga feel. But seeing them is so funny in the anime because it's going to be some diehard online that's like, actually, that's not a black person. Yeah, they're just from a tribe where the sun hits their skin really hard, but they're not black. They're not. There's no possible way a black person can even exist in this universe because they're made by Japanese people. Black people don't exist. It'll be a character that's so obvious too, but they'll be like, actually, in the canon lore, black people, they don't exist. They don't actually exist. So you.
Okay, I'm sorry. Again, I didn't watch this. She's doing the most, but but she said something about the characters just have a nigga feel. I was like, what? What?
Nah, that's different.
No, but I feel like there were certain characters that might, if they represented, maybe like coming from a different planet or something like that.
Yeah. Instead
of like them representing humans, they were definitely a different like race of something. I'm trying to oh, okay. For example, and this might not be this is just an animation, I believe, but the Thundercats, you've seen that?
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody has always said that the Panther dude was really a black dude, and I get it. His voice sounded black. What's up, Candy Cane? What's his name? Panthro?
I think yeah. I think so.
But some people was like, okay, he's definitely black. You know what I'm saying? Like Lionel, he was definitely white. Of course, he was more lighter skinned or whatever. But the Panthro dude, like, he was a darker skin. But a lot of people were saying that even though he wasn't a human, he more had a black, like was more of like a black character. Do you think that some of these characters have what this girl said, a nigga feel?
She's you and her absolutely, because even for another example, Piccolo, right, which is in Dragon Ball Z,
Okay.
Everybody say Piccolo's a nigga. Like everybody I've heard have said that Piccolo's a nigga. You know what I mean? And I agree. I think Piccolo would be considered to be a nigga, and it's not just because his voice is like deeper or he sound like a nigga. It's just like his whole mannerisms. Like that's a nigga. Like a nigga that just don't care who will whoop your ass. Like that's just simple as that. So that's that. I get that. But then again, right?
Damn.
That's another. I think that's another flaw within. I think somewhat of the black community is that we.
This dude.
Yeah. I ain't.
What he look like?
Yeah, the green slug man. Yes, that's a nigga. That's a nigga. That's a nigga for sure. That's another flaw I think though, because it's like we almost kind of expect a certain like thing from a black man, and that's where we ourselves kind of look into it and we kind of make our own stereotypes. Like we make our own problems sometimes. It's like why are they portraying this nigga is to be this or that, or to be this or that, and he's a green slug man. Like he's not a nigga. He's literally a green slug man. You know. So but
Right.
just because he has certain aspects that we would consider to be nigga type, you know, a nigga archetype, you know, we would take it a little bit further. You know, that's how I say.
Right. That I guess I found a way to identify it with something, right? They
Exactly.
claimed him like, hold on, don't be talking about my, you know what I'm saying? Like don't be talking about my, you know what I'm saying, my character like that, like the fuck.
But
like,
it do come from something though, LA, because it's like even in the same example, right? In Dragon Ball Z, they got another character named Mr. Popo. You probably even heard of that name. You probably don't know who it is, but you probably don't heard of Mr. Popo. It's this dark-skinned butler slave kind of yeah. He's real dark-skinned with big lips. It's the craziest. It's the craziest shit, bro. It's the craziest.
Have somebody in DJ's chat that has that as his Abby.
Yes, exactly. Mr. Popo as his Abby.
Always be starting shit. He do. That's ironic.
It's always them dark skin. Now let me stop.
You better stop. Okay.
But yeah,
you already know what they said about me. Like, shoot, no, like I am not associate the thoughts of Keon or his own, and do not represent the chair. All right, let's see what else is like type of racism is going on with this whole cosplay. Let's see if they actually get into some details, because like these TikToks is not convincing me. It's just comments. I mean, and like you said, everybody's gonna have one.
Yeah.
You need to stop making everything about race, because these are Asians. Not everything revolves around nigger. Then like Lord forbid, like the Asian community and the Japanese people be like, you know, like we don't really care. Like we actually fuck with black people. So this is a black character. No! Why do you have to put race in everything? Need some of the discourse on the Pokemon trainer, because she dark skinned, as if there's never been a black Pokemon trainer before. Like be popping out their skin, they be like, no, my Pokemon journey, I can't evolve my Pokemon because of fucking. Like, dog, it's not that serious. Just get your fucking gym badge and go.
Replied to them and I said, incel discovers melanin. Am I not allowed to make jokes? Aw, they're a victim now. Then I was like, so am I. Because like, what do you mean? You're allowed to make jokes, but don't get mad when I make a joke right back. So after that, some random person who has nothing to do with the conversation says,
just side note, I can't say that shit. When people say something that they know is going to get a response, and then they be like, "Oh, you can't take a joke." Like who? First of all, who are you to be joking? And if nobody's laughing but you, like, is it really a joke? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
do you think that that's deflection? Just to see, you know, after they find out that somebody got offended.
No, that's definitely gaslight. To me, that's a form of gaslighting, because it's like, brother, you like, even you're a grown ass person. Like, if you don't know what you're doing, then that's a flaw within itself. Like, you should know that this is gonna get a certain response. Like, just even okay. So let's go back to the other people, because all the videos you've been showing, right, has been people basically commenting on people's comments. Like
Right.
if you're gonna dress like a white woman in an anime, you should expect people to say you're not white. Like I think that should be an expectation. Me personally, honestly.
So do you think that, I mean, everything needs to be prefaced with like black blah blah blah? You
No,
know what I'm
no,
saying?
not at all, not at all. But see me, like me and you, LA. Of course, me and you probably don't think that race should be anywhere near involved when it comes to cosplay or just dressing up as a character. But when
Right.
we're talking about social media, that's a broad spectrum of people that could come across your stuff. So there's a lot of people that do think that way. Not the majority, not at all, but there's a lot of people that think that way. So it's like for me, I would expect that. I would expect the most negative comments if I'm posting something on social media.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's a little, it's unfortunate, you know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah,
there's more people who gravitate towards content in channels that they quote unquote don't like than they do like. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like think of, you know what I mean? Because there's certain people who just constantly, show up in the chats or whatever in certain channels and they don't do nothing but complain or
Yeah,
do
for
anything
negative,
but
they
like,
love
talk.
negativity.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
unfortunate that people don't just go to places that they actually enjoy. You know what I'm saying? So that they can support the creator instead of going to places that they don't like, just to be like, oh, you're doing it wrong. Like, I mean, but there's something wrong with people, like for real, in general, especially when it comes to this social media stuff. It's like, they can take out whatever whatever they feel about a certain person who fits a certain category
yeah,
without any consequence. You know what I'm saying? Something
yeah,
that
yeah.
they can't do in real life because they know they'll go to jail. You know what I'm saying?
But
Like,
but see, that's the thing though. That's because look, I ain't gonna lie to you. That's always what it's been for the internet for me. Like for me, that's always what it's been. It's always been a space. Like okay, we going back from like the 80s or 90s. Like the internet was literally a space for information. For me, growing up, the internet was social media. The internet was YouTube.
right.
Where people can come and literally just spew whatever BS they wanted to and pretty much get away with it. You know what I mean? So it's like that's what it is, LA. I ain't gonna hold you. That's just what it is. It in turn from just information and connecting or communicating to literally just boo-hooing and crying about me not being able to get some type of sex or whatever the case may be.
Right. Now I wanted to show everybody something really quick, and I could be wrong, hoodservative. If I am, please, of course I know you're going to correct me if I asked you to or not. But let me share something really quick. Hold on. Okay, let me share this tab instead. Okay. Now, when you brought up this Popo character,
Uh-oh.
I did look him up. I'm pretty fast. This is what I be doing. All right. So for everybody that's watching right now, this is what he looks like. Now, according to Hoodservative, he says Popo is Asian culture, though.
Uh-oh.
And he also said he's seen stuff that predates Dragon Ball. So do you believe, or Hood, are you saying that this has nothing to do, it's just a coincidence that like African Americans were kind of depicted the same way? Is that what you're saying? I'm just curious. I don't want to put words in your mouth, you know what I'm saying? But for, but for everybody that's looking right now, doesn't this look like how they used to make us look? I don't know.
Come on now, like we that's what I'm like. Hood, he loves to do this thing where the white man hasn't done nothing. The white man
did nothing.
They don't ever do nothing. But come on, bro. Like it's just a coincidence that the man is dark skinned with big pink lips, and he's the servant or butler to King Kai. Like it's just too many coincidences.
A butler, damn.
Yeah, he was the butler.
No power.
Well, I wouldn't say. Well, I wouldn't say he was no power, but he was definitely the butler towards King Kai. But King Kai was the god of Dragon Ball Z at the time, so it's some context to it. So even though he was the butler to God, which would make him, I would say, a lot higher than regular niggas, but still he was a butler. Like it's too many coincidences. I don't know. I don't know.
Right. Right.
I don't know about that.
No, I feel you. That's why I was like, And so I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I'm a jerk in that way. But I just be poking at people. I'll be like, wait a minute. So are you saying that? Like, because I'll just be trying to understand.
And then LA is not even Mr. Popo, right? It's even other, like, even in Dragon Ball Z, even other black like characters. Because there's other black characters, but they're like side characters. They're depicted the same way, like big lips. They're not as dark as that, but they're definitely depicted like brown skin with big lips. Like, so I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Yeah, it's interesting. Unfortunately, I've never been to Japan, so I can't,
Say that again.
I don't know, but I do have some videos of how other races feel or look at Black people. We might look at that in a little while. It might be interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, we get back to this one. Because you just never know how they regard you in different countries. Everybody's not going to treat you like a rock star. I know I've heard that in certain instances, where they're just like, oh, everybody wants to take pictures with you and this, that, and the third. But they used to want to do that when they put us in human zoos and stuff, So
yeah, they want to take pictures with the lions and tigers and bears too,
Right, exactly. Go to what's that? Go to Thailand. Everybody, there's an excursion where you can take a picture with a live tiger. You know what I mean? Like I guess it's a tamed tiger, but I don't know how many those pictures I've seen. So yeah, that's why I don't know. I'll be skeptical sometimes. People can, and I don't know. I try not to be like hyper focused and stuff. Like I said, everything isn't about race, but I can't. There's certain things about like what I know about history that I just be like, you know what I'm saying? I see what you're doing right there.
But see, that's the thing though, LA, because it's like I hate when I feel like we have as a Black community, right? I don't like when we seem like we put anybody that's either not dark skinned under the same umbrella. I don't think Chinese people, Japanese people care about Black people like that. I think they do look at us like lions in a cage because we're new. Like we're not normal around that area. Maybe nowadays it's probably a little different. It's probably more, likely for you to see a Black man in Japan. But they look at us like brand new. Like this is something I don't see on a daily basis. So I don't think that they would think like I hate you. I would think they would think like, I don't know what you are. That's how I would think they would look at it.
Yeah, that's I'm like I could see definitely the mixture of the two. And so I'm just like, it's hard in this situation for me since I don't know, how what they're thinking or how they're regarding, it's hard for me to say how they feel, about this whole situation. I think it's probably more from the white community more than anybody else because they just, they're another group that, similar to some Black people who can be like hyper focused on race. Some of them can be the same way, where they just feel entitled to like they just need to be the authority of everything. And it's just like, no, like, like just because you're white doesn't make you right. Like those days are over.
And you got to think too, because there's an algorithm, right? Like, because I'm pretty sure if you go on TikTok, right, LA, or if you go on Instagram, TikTok, you're not going to see no posts with a whole bunch of Chinese lettering or Mandarin or Filipino. You're not going to see that. You know what I mean? You're going to see English posted algorithm type of post on your timeline. So
right.
I'm saying that just to say like there's a whole nother world that a lot of us just don't know about. You know what I mean? There's a whole nother world that because we can't even speak their language. Like Instagram won't literally put them on our algorithm because it would be a waste of time. We can't speak the language. We can't understand what they're talking about. So it's like, just be open-minded. Don't think that everybody's racist towards you. That's how I feel.
Right. I feel you. What's going on, Rakim?
What's going on? What's going on? Can you hear me all right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I'm clear. You sound good.
Okay. All right.
I
Yeah,
know
I
you
was
got the
listening
some
in.
history on this stuff right here.
Yeah, I mean,
You said what?
yeah, I definitely do. Now I'm not sure if it has anything to do with racism or ignorance because I do know about the girl who ended up, deleting herself
Hmm.
and because she was dealing with racist, comments online and everything, and I guess it got kind of severe that she couldn't. I wish she would have, got help or somebody would have paid attention because you don't be knowing what people be looking on, online and everything. I just wish you would have got some help before it came to that. But I do know, like in a lot of animes, in the depictions of when I can remember growing up watching, Dragon Ball Z and everything, and how they would depict, the black dudes with pink lips and real like dark skin and everything, and
Come on
even in
now.
even in the dub versions of that. I remember, right? I remember it was this one character on Dragon Ball Z in the dub version of that, and they literally named him Killer, like not Killer with an ER, Killer with an A, and they had him speaking like in gibberish. Go, you can find it on YouTube if you go back and look, like Google Killer or look up Killer Dragon Ball Z, and you will hear, and they had him speaking in like, gibberish, like back in the day, and that was the dub version. So I knew it was definitely some bigotry there, but um, I don't know completely if it's ignorance or if it's like it could be prejudice because when you think about anime, a lot of the times when they depict characters in anime, they're usually kind of
Oh
like
my
white characters.
God. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, they're usually like white characters that they depict in anime. Like
Bruh.
in majority of the times.
This is crazy. See, I'm glad I would watching no shit like this. Like, what the?
But you know what's crazy though, LA? At that time, you didn't think about it. It's just like when we was growing up in the
Mhm.
blatant racism that was in Tom and Jerry and the Looney Tunes and stuff like that. You didn't even think about the images that you were seeing. You didn't know that these people was making fun of you. You know?
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
okay. So look, go ahead. My bad. But 18th, right? Because like you said, when we were like 5, 6, 7, 8 years old watching this show, we're not looking at it as okay. This is really kind of racist. Like we ain't looking at it like that. So
Mhm.
is it really just growing up? Like is it just us? Like I feel like kind of that makes it a accountable kind of thing. Like we're looking at it in a wrong way versus like how a child would look at it. You know what I mean?
No, it's
Well.
not because it seeps into your subconscious. I give you a perfect
Mhm.
example. Just like the show Little Rascals. When people would be racist
Mhm.
and call black people buckwheat, hey, little buckwheat, because buckwheat was looked at, he had the big nappy afro, and he was depicted as with the buck eyes and different things like that. A lot of the times, it is you don't understand it as a child because you're a child, and then when you get older, you see exactly the things that they're trying to depict and the little it's just like a lot of hidden messages in cartoons that you didn't realize what was being put in those cartoons until you got older, like the Powerpuff Girls
Mhm.
with the character him. Remember him? Him was a transformer.
Yeah,
You remember
supposedly.
him?
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Yes.
Like, with the high
Yes.
heels and all of that. He was like, "Hey girl," like yeah,
Yeah.
he was
Me
he
out,
was a
bro.
transformer,
Yes.
and you didn't even
I was
realize
kind
it
of
as a
about
kid.
that shit.
You just thought it was the character when they would depict the mayor in the Powerpuff Girls and his assistant who had the busty breasts
Mhm.
and the curves and everything. He was
Mhm.
he was attracted to her, in another way, and they would put her. He would. Can you sharpen my pencil, please? And she putting the
Mhm.
pencil in the pencil sharpener, and you see, you know what they're saying. Like, so a lot of the times, no, it's just it gets into your subconscious and has you thinking a certain way when you're a kid, and then when you get older, you like, oh, so this what the fuck they meant, or oh, excuse my language,
Yeah.
LA, or this is what they
No,
was,
you're okay.
they were saying. So
No, you're
Yeah,
okay. You can, say you can cuss it. I don't care.
yeah,
But yeah.
yeah. My bad, but
No, go
yeah,
ahead, Keon.
I feel you what you're talking about. Like it's a subconscious thing. But honestly, the subconscious thing, right? Like what actually is implanted in your mind is what I'm kind of arguing, right? Because it's like to me, if a 7-year-old is looking at Mr. Popo, I'm pretty sure he's not looking at it as like, okay, this is some racist stuff. I'm pretty sure you're just looking at it as like, okay, this is Mr. Popo who trained Goku or wherever the the story is. So it's like if it's implanted in me that this is really not what I guess societal wise in the past or in the present, what they say is like racist, then I don't know. I think that's actually kind of good. Like for us to actually get rid of racism, we got to implant in kids' minds like that this is just a character. Like this is not that. Like this is not just that. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I can understand where you are coming from to an extent, because the waters get a little murky when you're talking about Japanese animation. But when I say with American depiction, for instance, they would depict us, like when they depict, black people or African, like on Looney Tunes, they got them in like tribes dancing around huts, playing drums with bones in their noses and stuff
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
different. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah, like, and
different.
um, Tom and Jerry with the mama being a big black mammy, and
Right.
like different things like that. So but you know what? I think would be a great subject, because I can't articulate myself as far as like, because I'm trying to go through my mind and remember a lot of the stuff that I saw. But what would be a great subject, LA, the
What's that?
history of racist cartoons, and
It
to
Ooh.
would.
go 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 through there and see, because I saw some brothers talking on one video, and they was talking about a cartoon that they remember growing up as a kid, and the cartoon, it depicted like a black family, and they lived on this planet, and on the planet everything was made of junk, right? The
Mm.
cars, like the flying cars, was made of junk, and everything was made of junk compared to the other nicer planets, and that was putting out the showing that they was poor, that they was like broke and poor, and wasn't like the other. It was the whole thing to it. I can't go into detail, but it was the whole thing to it. But I think that'd be a great subject.
No, I would.
Yeah, we
Definitely
can
would.
definitely try to. Well, it's a lot of work. You talk about the history. We can definitely pull up some stuff, and
Yeah,
just,
that's what
of
I meant.
course, have our normal
Yeah, that's
conversation
what. Yeah,
about
that's
it.
that's what I meant.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, actually, I think, and when you guys are talking about this, I'm actually looking through my saved videos. I might have something about that now,
Yeah.
actually. But
Yeah. Go ahead.
hold on. Hey Dub, you can support the channel, but no, I don't. Let's not kick Keon off. He's doing good. We
Wait,
having a
what?
good conversation. We
Wait,
always
wait,
try to
wait,
kick
wait,
somebody
wait,
off.
No,
wait, what?
shout,
What I do?
shout out to A Dub, man. A Dub, that's my homie right there, man.
What
Shout
I
out
do,
to A Dub. No, A
dog?
Dub be throwing bombs. A Dub just be throwing bombs.
Yeah, and no, Cash App isn't the only way. If you guys look at there's a message that's pinned at the top of my chat. It's actually, you can use any card that you want to. If you don't have Cash App or you're not comfortable with that, then yeah, it's called Buy Me a Coffee. So that's not the only way that you can support. I appreciate you though.
Yeah, just buy her a coffee, A Dub. Why you
Yeah,
gotta?
that's all I'm asking
What the,
for.
I'm fighting for my life. What did I say? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
man, man, I'm out here working, y'all. It's like 5 degrees out here right
Man,
now,
Yeah,
where are
it's
you
low
and they
at?
got
birds.
what you say?
I said, where are you
I said,
at?
yeah.
I'm going to Green Bay, Wisconsin. I'm past
Okay,
Milwaukee
okay,
right now.
okay.
It's over. It's over. I'm damn near 150 miles out from Canada.
Sheesh. Yeah, it gets cold up
Yeah, you damn
there.
near
I
close. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Keon. You got a delay?
Yeah, I think I do got a delay. That's why I'm kind of starting when y'all started. But yeah, I was just saying I'm down there like I'm probably about 100, 200 miles away from you. I'm in Indiana. It's 13 degrees right now, man.
Sheesh.
Oh yeah, I be going past Indianapolis all the time. Yeah, I be going past
Exactly.
Indianapolis all the time. It's like 3 hours away.
Yep.
About
Yeah,
three.
I don't miss that weather, boy. I swear.
Man, who you telling? I hate this. I'm living through it, man. I cannot stand this weather, brother. I can't.
I
So what's
used to
like
love it as a
keeping you
kid, but
there?
as I got older, you start seeing why a lot of people want to move to warmer climates. But I always loved the cold because of the fashion, going outside throwing snowballs and different stuff like that. But when you start getting older, and you start seeing how in this type of weather, your pipes can bust in your house, your car
Mhm.
cannot stop. I mean, your car can't start.
Hold
If
on
if
now.
if your brakes ain't good, you gonna slide somewhere. You
Mo-
start you
Most of
start
most
thinking about it,
exa-
you be like, yeah.
most of the car crashes happen in the wintertime, brother. Like that's a bad statistic to be living around, man. I come on. I don't know about that, man. I gotta go
Oh, I
somewhere.
just had somebody a week ago. I just had somebody slide in front of me and hit the
Ooh,
divider. Yep, they were trying to speed up, end up sliding out of control and hit the divider. They was sliding so bad it looked like they was skating.
Man,
yeah,
It
man.
I'll
looked
be
like
the
they was
laugh, but
skating.
like, damn, man, that should be looking like bumper cars. I swear to
Yeah,
God,
yeah, I swear it do. It do. And then they can't control themselves. So I can
at
just see him
all.
I'm like, damn man, he about to do a figure eight. Smack
Yeah, I'm
that
supposed to be looking
divider.
at this damn video. Hold on.
Yeah, yeah. Cause
Watch.
back because good because I ain't gonna lie. 18th, you probably or damn, I forgot. I'm gonna just call you 18th, but I know they call you something else. Uh, I think right, you the perfect person for this, right? Uh, do you think that black folks have a identity crisis problem? Do you think that's a problem?
Yes. It's become a very big problem. Not only do black people have an identity problem, but we have and I was watching a black historian from the UK the other day, and how he was saying it's a difference between self esteem and racial esteem. You have some black people that have high self esteem, but they have a very low racial esteem, which means on how they view their own people. Are they willing to work with their own people? And me and LA have had conversations about this, and I think that it's a possibility we both have ran into issues because when you have high self esteem and high racial esteem, you can get easily disappointed because you'll run into black people that don't have high racial esteem. They have so they look at you kind of in the same sense as white people would look at you, or a racist white person
Right.
will look at you, which will completely throw you off. So yeah, it's an identity crisis, and that's not just black people here in the states; it's black people all over the world. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's an identity crisis because a lot of people don't read, and I hate to say it like this, but a lot of people are not that bright, so they don't question what is all it takes is somebody that know how to articulate themselves well, that know how to form a narrative, and then they get sucked right into it. And before you know it, they believe in all of this BS. Oh, we ain't black, we native. No, we're not natives. We're not. We're
yeah,
not. Oh, we ain't black, we Hebrew Israelites. Oh, like it's too much. It's too much foolishness. And if you know anything about history and the way that the way that everything played out, we came from the coast of West Africa and Central Africa. Now, if you want to say, are we Africans today? No, we have a different cultural identity today. Racially we are Africans, but our ethnic background is something different because we've been here for 400 years and we created our own culture and customs and different things here. But
exactly.
and people are ashamed of that. You have a lot of people. It's like everyone is trying to figure out a way that they can be on a winning team. When the people on that team don't want you on that team, you have that with all non-black immigrants, black immigrants, and some black Americans that are trying to assimilate to this ladder of what they feel that is being on the winning team, the higher class of people, even though that's interwoven with a lot of prejudice, racism, and classism and everything. It's all interwoven into that. But and people just try to find different ways to try to tell you that they're not, but you can obviously tell by their actions that's what everyone's trying to do. When they say assimilate, that's what they mean by assimilate. So
Right. Right. That's what I was saying in the beginning of my show. Is when people come online and they are experiencing these complete strangers, but their attitude towards them is like so negative, you know what I'm saying? Or about the experience of, they claim to want to be in a relationship or something, but their attitude towards it is so negative, all that type of stuff. I really do think it's like how people, it is a reflection of how they feel about themselves,
Yeah.
because it's like, why would anybody who has high self-esteem or has a healthy self-esteem is not limiting themselves so much and telling themselves what they can't have, or that they can't find something good, or everything's just bad. I don't know. That's just how I feel about it. But how do you feel about that? Especially, I mean, when you kind of touched on it a little bit, when you were speaking on the self-hate, because like, especially when it comes to each other, I'm just like, we used to be, blaming everybody else and all the other outside like factors like media and things like that of how they were portraying us in our image. But now it's our own selves, you know what I mean, who seems to be destroying our own image. Well, now we have way more control over how people see us. But based
Yeah.
off of how we treat each other, which isn't very good, we can't see each other in a high regard, you know what I mean, as Black people. How do you
Yeah.
feel about that?
I definitely think there's a certain group, because I mean, shoot, I call names. See, the boy Chaotic Truth. I'm pretty sure y'all haven't heard of him.
Oh
He's
yeah.
definitely one of those individuals who will, for a dollar, he'll pretty much degrade anybody, especially his own people, and which is crazy because from what I heard, he was actually Black Power for a minute of, or like the beginning of his YouTube. But anyway, like people like that who just don't care, where or capitalism is the only thing that matters, the dollar is the only thing that matters. There is certain groups of individuals who's like that, but like you said, I think that most of us, right, aren't like that, aren't like the people who are trying to convince people that the Egyptians are actually the original Black people, or Hebrews are the original Black people, or that a lot of us aren't like that. We're just
Right.
who we are. We go by our government names or our nicknames, and we go from there. That's who we are. But there's a certain group of individuals who literally project themselves through Black people, through Martin Luther King, through Malcolm X. They project themselves through these people to make themselves feel better, in my opinion. So that
Right.
definitely that's a part of it.
That's an interesting thought. I wanted to ask you guys a follow-up question, but let me just let A-Dub know. Yes, it did go through. Thank you so much for getting me a cup of coffee. You guys or anybody else would like to support the show, like I said, the link is pinned at the top of the chat, or you can pick a different method by $ the LA Project on Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal. Thank you.
We humble as a bumble in the middle of the jungle. We got problems and we fumble and we stumble, but we don't grumble. All we do is hustle, and you the reason that we on our way up. You the reason, 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 you the reason.
Appreciate you, A-Dub. Now, Keon, I was listening to what you were saying, and I'm not trying to, bully or pinpoint any specific group, but I did want to use one that you brought up as an example. Now, you brought up, like you said, the Hebrew Israelites, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I know we got some people in the space who do, who I guess, identify with being one. Do you think that that is like more of a pride and lineage thing, or do you think it's more of like mm, it makes me better than other people type of thing?
It depends on who you're talking to. I definitely think that when you get to like the more popular Hebrew Israelites, it gets to a pride thing. But again, that's because they have to portray that. That's how they get their following. But ultimately, I'm trying to be as honest as I can because I didn't deal with a lot of ignorant Hebrew Israelites. But ultimately, I do think that they believe this stuff. Like I'm gonna just be honest, but it does turn into a I'm better than you because I believe that I'm literally the bloodline of Abraham, and it gets to a prideful thing. So I can see where somebody can come to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the part, and I don't know if I'm doing too much with this, but to me, that's kind of like what that it's a part. That's a part of like assimilation as well, right? Like acting, because our history and everything, people really did believe all the things that they were told about themselves. You know what I mean? It took a while and a lot of different, a lot of different ways and methods to really like get people to, actually have some pride about themselves, right?
Yeah,
However, it's like knowing how we how we feel, knowing how it feels to be just put on the bottom because it's just convenient for another group of people. It's like now it seems like we're trying to get our lick back. You know what I'm saying? In one way or another.
exactly, exactly.
And I see it when it comes to even like in the more extreme cases, right? The people who are, they're standing for their causes, whether it be extreme feminism, extreme manosphere stuff or whatever. They be sounding like white supremacists, man. Like
That's a fact.
real.
But that's how I feel about even the FBA. They the FBA kind of movement sometimes be seeming like they getting a little towards white supremacy in a way because instead of it being towards I guess the opposite race, like white people was doing it, they're doing it towards their own people. Like you Africans, you tethers, you bush eating, bush wheat, whatever, bush meat eating, all that. That kind of gets to damn near like a white supremacist kind of mindset. Like you think you're better than somebody else, and that's
Well,
strange.
to be honest, I think where that comes from, because you're right, it does go in that direction. And the thing that gets me with the FBA too, with the extremists, if they start attacking, like they don't know a lot of, you know, they don't know
It's
the history of a lot of
exactly.
these countries, or even their own. It's just they're just picking up on a movement. But some of it is logical. I'd be lying to say, because I've been on TikTok, I've been in these spaces where I've heard people from the continent, or even some of the people from the islands talk reckless about Black Americans. Like, and what it really comes down, I think, is that certain FBA people are starting to are trying to starting to like they're looking at it from the standpoint where I might as well start talking like a white supremacist and siding with them because this is what the immigrants they get here and they side with white people anyway. So when they side with white people and they do it and they're believing every trope about us that white people have put out there, and they thinking that their way to success is to assimilate to white people, we might as well do the same thing. And I think that's like now that the white people are turning against y'all, and it's a developing anti-immigrant mindset, then we might as well jump on the bandwagon because if it was the other way around, y'all be jumping on the bandwagon with them against us. So I think that's where a lot of that is coming from.
Go ahead, LA.
Unproductive. But I mean, it's not like I can't
Very, I
it's
agree.
not it's not like
No,
I
I
can't
agree.
understand, the math. You understand what I'm saying? But it's like so many people are just content with like, well, that's just the way it is. Like, is it though? Like it end up adding up to be this way because of certain factors. If you change the
Well,
variables, then you're gonna get a different answer.
but see, here's the thing, LA. You're a critical thinker, right? A lot
Hmm.
of people are just followers. Most people are just going to
Yeah.
follow whichever the strongest message is. They feel like they can relate to their personal experiences or the sentiment that they have, but they feel that's going to make sense. They're going to follow that. They're not going to question it. They're not going. We saw that growing up in certain churches. People wouldn't
Yeah.
question what they was being taught. They wouldn't read the Bible for themselves. They'll just go off anything that the preacher says, and the preacher doing dirt behind the scenes that everybody knows about as well. Or it's all about the tithes that you can give for the week, or y'all haven't been putting in the
Hmm.
collection plate. It's no different. It's just a more evolved way on the internet, and so yeah, it's a lot of people out here that are just following like messages. But I have had some bouts with especially people from the continent who would say we don't. It was just one guy that was being corrected online. He was the son of African immigrants, talking about we don't care about Jim Crow, we don't care about this, and we don't care about none of that. See, and that's the type of stuff. So it's on both sides.
Yeah.
It's on both sides. I think a lot of the time we're just seeing, the FBA stuff because it's in the algorithm. But man, when you get online and you start hearing some of these people talking like y'all been here for 300 years and it only took us a generation to build this and build that, not knowing that you over here because of the work that we put in. Because prior to 1965, it was not a large number of uh, not only black immigrants or Hispanic immigrants at all, because the United States laws was tailored to have European immigrants migrate here. Nobody else.
Right. 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 Yeah. That was back in what, 18 something?
No, 1965 Immigration Act that came from the
Oh, okay.
1964
I thought you were
Civil
talking.
Rights
Okay.
Act,
Got you.
which is why you start seeing a large influx of people coming from the islands and the continent in the 70s and 80s. 15
Okay.
years after 15 years after that the Immigration Act was put into law. So and it's one thing if look, you here to make your money or whatever, make your money. If it's something that you don't know or understand about America and the way that the American system is structured, then I would say have enough cool to be quiet and say, "Oh, I'm not going to get involved in that because I don't know enough about that." And that's how I would be when I'm going to various places in various countries where I don't understand they politics. And I think one thing that they've listened to white people because of course they have they it was the same thing in a lot of these other countries. So they think white people are, well, white people told us this and we came here to assimilate. And what happens is a lot of the times when people come from countries where they don't really have much, when they're able to attain something in the United States, it makes them get a bit of an ego. You get what I'm saying? It makes them get a bit of
Hmm.
an ego because they're looking at it like, well, we got all this opportunity here and y'all squandering this, y'all squandering that, and maybe the white man is white because what happens is people are
My bad.
looking for somebody to people are looking for someone to look down upon to make themselves feel like they're progressing. It's the same thing with poor white people that look down on black folks and other people that come here that don't fully understand the way America works. And now we're seeing an anti-immigration sentiment that's coming from, the media, that's coming from the United States government, and all it took was 5 years. Now a lot of
Right.
people want to blame FBA, but when the roles were reversed, and don't get me wrong, I don't support like FBA. Some things they say make sense, but I'm calling the BS out on all sides. But now that the roles are reversed and people are getting pointed out with this anti-immigrant sentiment, now it's FBA. We supposed to, and this is for the ones that have this anti-Black American mindset. Oh, now we're supposed
Hmm.
to stick together and all of that. But just 10 years, 20 years ago, oh, we were lazy and we didn't we were not we never accomplished anything in America, and we was thugs and criminals and all of this other stuff that people were regurgitating these literally, white American talking points about us when they felt that they were comfortable. Now that they're in the crosshairs, all of a sudden, as black people, we need to stick together. But some of y'all didn't even identify by y'all race. You identified by your culture, and you were trying to keep yourself separate as much from African Americans as possible. And I think that needs to be talked about, just like what the Somalians are going through up there in Minnesota right
now. Man, what are they going through in
Minnesota? I know I said a lot because I was a little long-winded. I was trying to just, get all my thoughts out there. Well, the Somalians now, it's been a situation where it's been some Somalians that was involved in criminal activities that has been arrested up in Minnesota, where they was frauding, I think, the government for millions and millions of dollars, or the state government for millions of dollars, and a lot of people and ICE and everything is lurking all through their neighborhoods and everything, and now they're trying to make it seem, it's this is an attack on black people. Like, no, you just didn't even identify as black. What are y'all talking about?
Right.
What are y'all talking about? We was all types of Jadias, and your culture was completely separate from our culture. And we had the victim mindset and everything. Now that America is turning their barrels on you, and all of a sudden, we need to unify. No, it don't work that way. It don't work with unification when you feel that you're in distress. And then when you're in a situation of comfortability, then all of a sudden it's, everybody's separate. When you was trying to, you all voted for this. A lot of y'all voted for the same people that are putting you in this predicament where they're taking your family members away. So,
hey, can I get a mic check real quick?
Lot.
Oh, mic check 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, okay, there we good. We good. Welcome to the show. How are you today?
Oh, I'm blessed.
Good.
What's going on, people? What's going on? I just clicked on the show. I thought it was about anime, and then y'all talking about the Somali debacle. I'm versed.
Yeah, I just kind of going into all over the place. What's going on with you, How you doing, brother?
Gotcha.
Yeah, but we definitely started off with the anime. So you got anything on that? Do you think that, us black folks should be able to participate in the cosplay and all that?
As much as the white folks are, because anime ain't even some American things. It's us participating in someone else's culture. So, you know what I'm saying? And smartly, the anime world is accepting of every culture. Now, there are people and components online that would say, there was an infamous, I forget what her name is, but there was an infamous cosplay influencer that cosplayed as Hinata from Naruto. And the biggest thing said about her is that Hinata wasn't black. And then she decided to make a troll song saying Hinata isn't black. Well, she gonna be black today.
That's what we saw earlier today. Okay. We were just playing a video. That's what it started with. But she was beautiful. Okay. I was like, okay, with the white eyes. Shoot, I didn't even know who all these. I don't know who all the.
She did a great Hinata. I don't give a damn what anyone said. So yeah. So I think that is an example of just people within a culture instead of the culture as a whole. Anime, all the creators of anime love black people, especially like Hidetori and the creators of Dragon Ball Z. They love black people. As a matter of fact, I think they started tailoring the story more towards a black audience after a while. I mean, there's too many parallels. There are too many parallels. Like Goku is always an absentee father. The kid Gohan is getting raised by Piccolo.
That was gonna be my next question. We give you the impression they love black folks. But go ahead.
Like his dad is always dying, and so he's always absent. You know what I'm saying? And and Piccolo, the guy, the only colored character. You know what I'm saying? One of the few colored characters, I'll say that, is raising him. You know what I'm saying? Like as his own son. And not only that, but you know what I'm saying, they really like fighting. Like they really like to fight. You know what I'm saying? Throughout the whole matter of fact, Goku is so insane with it. He'll give somebody a medicinal herb in the show called the sensu bean,
Sensu bean
takes you from 0 to 100. You know what I'm saying? Back again. Yeah. He will show up on the scene. The villain is like half defeated. Everybody in the squad is wiped out from trying to beat the big bad dude. The villain is like half defeated. Goku will show up with a sensu bean, not just to heal the squad, but he will heal the ops too. He'll heal the Hobbs back to 100% because he wants to fight people at 100%. Yeah, he's insane. He's insane. Yeah, he really likes to fight. He really likes to. So it's like there's a lot of parallels. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of parallels, especially when we get into the racist part with Frieza. Frieza is the you can't tell me nothing. That's white supremacy in cartoon form. I don't give a damn what you say.
But you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy?
Supremacy. What's that?
He had to get rid of the Saiyans because the Saiyans thought the Saiyans would be a threat. But the funny thing is, the Saiyans didn't view themselves as a threat at all. And then it's funny because he'll call the Saiyans monkeys, like how
always say monkey.
But the funny, you know what's crazy? The Saiyans was one of the strongest races, but even after all of that, what did the Saiyans still do? They still fought against each other.
Facts.
Vegeta against Goku. Vegeta fighting the other Saiyan. I mean, Goku fighting the other Saiyans. They still had this sense of we warriors, but we'll still take out our own. But the funny thing is, they were scared of Frieza too. They was afraid of Frieza. But Frieza was
at this point,
they
though,
was more
when
afraid
it
of
gets
Frieza
to
than Frieza was afraid of them. No, Frieza was more afraid of them than they were. But
what I don't like about modern day Dragon Ball though is that they let him live. Because the story was initially deep in Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. Yes, it was.
They cool with him, and he's just allowed to say all the racist shit. To this day, he's still racist as fuck. But they cool with him, and they let him breathe. I'm like, they killed both y'all daddy, blew up y'all whole planet, and enslaved you. And now y'all just let this nigga breathe around you like it's some regular shit. Like, I don't understand, like, why is he still around?
Right,
you know
exactly.
What I'm saying? Like what? Yeah.
Trunks dealt with Frieza. Trunks dealt with Frieza how he was supposed to deal with him. Trunks wasn't for the BS.
I felt all the Saiyan ancestors when he came down. He beamed down. I swear to God, L.A. This character that we talking about, right? He the big bad of like the second or third arc. I say third arc of the show that we talking about. He's the big bad dude. Nobody could beat him. He got like 1,000 transformations that he goes into. So when somebody starts whooping his ass, he goes into another transformation, and now they can't beat him. Nobody can beat him. It took Goku, the main protagonist, so many seasons. He had to watch his best friend die before he actually, you know what I'm saying, got the power and courage within himself to actually take him out. Tell me why this young boy, the next generation, all he did was show up with a sword and took him out immediately on sight. Like when we say on sight, Trunks was on sight. Like as soon as he showed up, he beamed down. He knew where he was going to be in advance.
He wasn't playing.
He knew where he was going to be in advance because he came back in time. He traveled backwards in time. He was like, okay, this is the guy that killed everybody. Well, I'm going to take it to him. He was already there waiting for the nigga. Soon as he showed up, sliced him in half and then just obliterated him with one hand. It was ridiculous.
So what?
And we had to sit through we had to sit through like a whole 3 seasons in order to build up this nigga. this new nigga Trunks just came through and instantly got the job done like it was nothing.
Hey, hey, Omni, got rid of his daddy too. Got rid of
You
his
said,
daddy
oh
too.
yeah, and King Cole. King Cole.
Got rid of his father too.
Yeah.
Got rid of
Frieza and King Cole, yeah.
Hey, hey, he wasn't. King Cole was begging for his life. And like he was like, wait, no, my son was evil, not I. Oh man, I ain't trying to hear none of that.
I swear to God, 12-year-old me was looking dead at the screen like, you's a bitch. I'm sorry.
Like, even a child do that. Like, man, you was a punk. Like,
he just killed your son in front of your face. And now
On
you
the
was
real.
like, oh.
On the real.
No, that was Junior.
Just let me live. Let me live.
like that since the beginning of time, apparently.
Oh no, that boy got wrapped up in the wrong crowd. That's how he got evil like that. I ain't ready to be like that. Let me live.
He enslaved half the universe, and he was like, "Oh yeah, that's just my son. He be tripping sometimes." Like what?
Yeah, y'all both need to go in that situation because he wouldn't even be this way if you would have did a better job. Like, fuck out of here.
But yeah, I promise, LA, if you watch, just watch the Namek saga. Just watch to save yourself all the buildup and whatnot, because there's a lot of buildup to get to that point. But just watch the Namek saga of Dragon Ball Z. You will see so many white supremacy themes and correlations. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah,
and
I was like, when that stuff was coming out. No, you're good. Just real quick, like when a lot of that stuff came out, I had kind of grew out of like animation and stuff like that. So that was more of like my nephew's generation. So it's like I never even really was interested in like Dragon Ball Z and all that stuff. But my nephew used to be glued. I
was that way too.
Relate a lot to this conversation.
But you know what? Was a good movie, because they had movies as well that was like branches off the TV show, and one great movie that told it all was Bardock, the father of Goku. When you watch that,
sure.
and you seen the history of the Saiyans and how Frieza did them and all of that, and like I was like, dang, this is good as hell. This is good as hell. And and the history of Trunks too, because Trunks' future was all messed up. His future, like everybody, when he traveled back in time, everybody was dead in his time, or everybody was deleted. I'm sorry, everybody was deleted in his time. It wasn't no Goku, wasn't no Gohan, wasn't like everybody was literally gone in Trunks' time.
Yeah.
So that was pretty good too. And also it is some black animes, LA. One of them is on Netflix. I have to find them, but like they got black authors. And some people would even argue that Boondocks was an anime.
That's what we were trying to
style,
so what do you think, Omni? Because me and Keon, we were talking about that earlier as well. Hood Servative had put it in the chat. I kind of considered it one after a certain time or a certain certain amount of seasons came out. But what do you think? Do you think that Boondocks is considered an anime?
It's definitely that style. So I would consider it anime. And listen, there's satirical anime out there, and I think that's what Boondocks was. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? There's not anime where it's just a bunch of dudes fighting. That's how you know what I'm saying. That's how you that's how you market to prepubescent boys. You know what I mean? But there's a bunch of anime that explore a bunch of concepts, ideas. There's animes out there that are just strictly drama, and it's like you watching and might be watching. I won't quite say like a soap opera or something like that, but it's just drama and no violence or anything like that. Is just exploring ideas, concepts, and philosophies. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying, through artful dialogue and imagery. You know what I mean? So There's all types of anime out there, man. But I do like the violent ones. I'm sorry, it's just me. I like, I like
I kind of
I
do
gotta
too. I
have
can't
violence
lie.
in my anime. That's just me. You know what I mean?
I don't
The
know why.
first
Well,
time I saw
Well,
Luffy cock back all the way on somebody, like cock way, way, way back. I'm like, Dow Sim ain't got nothing on this one.
I, I
God dog.
I got one for you. I got one
Since he
for
ate
you,
that gum
LA.
gum fruit. But go ahead.
I got one
what's
for
that?
you, LA.
What's that?
Now it's not much violence, but it was a thriller and it was real good. And I think only know what I'm about to say. Death Note. Death
I
Oh
Note
keep
yeah, for
hearing of
sure.
that
is a
one.
classic.
Death Note is
Death Note is good.
All right, let me write this stuff down because every time that you guys have your anime talks, I don't ever write all these names and stuff down, but I know that y'all know.
You,
So Death
you can
Note.
Death
watch it
Note
on
is like
Netflix.
explore.
Death Note
Definitely.
is true.
It's like
What you
exploring the mind of Jeffrey Dahmer if you know what I'm saying he could get away with killing people with the stroke of a pen.
oh
Is the
Yeah,
best way I can put it.
if
hence
he
the
got your
note.
if he
Death
got
Note.
your
Mm,
full name and he put it in that book, you're done for. You're
Oh
done.
Lord.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I want to
Not
see that.
not only that, not only that, the main thing I find interesting about the Death Note is that you can write anything in there. Like it's not just putting the name in there. He got so advanced with it where he started to dictate reality and how people would move based on writing paragraph descriptions of how their day was going up until they died.
Hmm,
So he would
that's
like
crazy.
write out, you know what I'm saying, be here at such and such a time to get hit by the train and jump off like that type of thing. Like he
Hmm.
would dictate not
Yeah, he was
just
specific with it.
like how people died or when they died, but he would dictate like their moments leading up to their death. And he was able to manipulate a lot of stuff that way too.
Yeah,
Damn.
the book was
Okay,
basically.
no, don't spoil it because I will watch this
Okay.
because I need something else to watch.
But
Hey,
another one,
hey,
LA though, I
Almost
think
done with The Hobbit. Hmm?
another one though is Attack on Titan. The first episode is
oh
gonna
yeah, that's good.
hook you, man. That's I always tell people to watch that. Like if you're a new anime person, yeah, watch that show
Why are you laughing like that?
because it's crazy, man. It's
Hey, do
crazy.
y'all do y'all remember hey LA, this gonna trip you out. Back in '06, it was a kid, I think he ended up getting kicked out of school. They found out I think he was in Texas or something. They found that he had a Death Note book. Just like
Oh
in the
my
series.
goodness.
And in
Uh-huh.
the
Oh
book he
man,
had his teacher's name in the book, George Bush name in the book.
Damn.
I think his
His hit
parents
list, huh? His whole hit list was in that bitch. Like
his
shoot.
his parents'
He
name.
just sitting back just waiting for something to happen. Like, no.
but see, that's another thing too, right? Because this goes with your topic, LA. Like the
Uh-huh.
influence of not only just like TV or movies or like cartoons and shows, but like video games and stuff like that. Like that influence to me is kind of always kind of over the top, right? Like if we get a school shooting and we find out that, or a school, pew pewing, and we
Uh-huh.
find out that he was playing, GTA. Now we blaming GTA,
Right.
for the reasoning. That's kind of crazy for me. You know what I mean? These people, they're influenced. They want to dress like anime characters because they like the anime, not because of some other shit.
Yeah, that's how I felt about the situation. So, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I've definitely heard. I'm trying to think of another situation. I mean, there was a little chitter chatter. You know what I'm saying? Like when Black Panther came out. But I mean, there technically was a comic book called Black Panther, though, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where it
Yes,
came
that's where it comes from. Yeah.
from.
Right. So that's why I'm just like, so I remember people being a little bit upset when that shit came out, like in terms of just like, because it was almost like, before or when that actually was happening, it was almost like, you saying that black people can't be superheroes, you know what I'm saying? Because I know people have mentioned Storm, and of course we brought up the other, other kind of characters or at least references to the characters, and that's what I was saying earlier. They more of like made us more of like creatures from another planet. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
or
What?
No,
animal like or something. Like I brought up
it's
Thundercat.
it's been plenty of like I can't remember his name in DC.
There's
What was
been
his name?
plenty of
Black
Black
Hawk
Clothes. Yeah.
or thought like. But here's the thing: they made the
Black
same
Lightning, Static Shock.
Black Lightning, yeah, Static Shock,
Static
yeah,
Shock was the shit. They need to remake that.
Blade,
Who?
Blade.
Blade saved the Marvel. Without Blade, there would be no Marvel Cinematic Universe as we
Okay.
know it. Even Stan Lee said that.
Yeah.
He
It's
said
just-
Blade was the first Marvel. Blade was the first Marvel movie.
Well, do
Blade
you
was the
think
first
kinda-
Marvel comic movie.
I didn't know that. I
And
really
without
didn't.
its success, it wouldn't be viable.
Man, because
Don't forget
that
Spawn.
franchise was dope, man. I can't even lie. Blade
Don't
was
don't,
Oh
don't
yeah,
forget
Spawn
Spawn.
with Michael J. White.
man.
I really want him to
love
get that back. I really
love
want him to
that
get that back.
series.
Yeah.
I think that was the first like animated series like that I got introduced to. And then
But
I got hip to Afro Samurai and
Afro Samurai.
huh?
No, I was just saying I mess with Afro Samurai.
Man, that was my shit. I used to be cracking up. I couldn't wait to come home from work to watch the next episode, man. Like I had it on like DVD, you know what I'm saying? It's before all the streaming and stuff. This is kind of back in the day.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I was
but I
meaning to tell you too, LA, they did
What?
that. They made that same mistake twice, where a lot of them, a lot of those racist people, they let their racism show because it just wasn't with Black Panther. They did the same thing when Luke Cage first came out. When people was
Yeah.
upset, we don't. Why is it got to be a black? Where's the white people in Luke Cage? They're like, first off, Luke Cage is a superhero from the comic book, and it takes place in Harlem, New York.
Right. Like, come on,
So
man.
yeah.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
don't
it would
forget,
make
don't forget how much of a don't forget the scenes that these people made when what's her name became the Little Mermaid with
yes.
when that girl became Little Mermaid.
Was it Chloe Bailey or was it Haley? It was one of the Bailey sisters. Yeah, when she became
Yeah,
Little
I think it was
Haley,
Chloe
yeah.
Bailey.
Ariel's not black. I'm just like, bruh, like this one is. How about that? But you
here's
know,
the
but
thing too.
they
They-
accepted Brandy as being Cinderella though.
I think there was some problems even with that. We just didn't really we
Yeah, I
didn't
wasn't
hear
there.
about it as much because we were kids. But even with that situation as well, the thing that they never questioned is the studios that's doing this. The studios will
Right.
take black people and make them into those characters. Not they get mad at the black people for playing the characters. They don't ever get mad at the studio.
Yep. Exactly. Like the actors didn't write the script, bro. Like they didn't get to pick their own parts and none of that stuff. Yeah, it's always something it's just unnecessary. I did find a video of some of these videos. Well, most of these videos I don't really like review and watch because I don't like to watch them second time in a row or whatever. But I did have another video that has something to do with this whole just I guess attitude towards black people being a part of the whole cosplay movement. So let me pull this up really quick. Y'all tell me what you think. There we go. All right, so let me mute this first because I have a comment.
Into our own communities and people that are doing these things. She's doing this for attention. People run to the comments and say that
Okay,
he's
so good. They're
anything but
going to
black.
show
So
some
they love the character, they love the
real
black
comments.
culture around him, but they hate the idea that he might actually be a black man. White people are trying to colonize anime now because of course they are.
Now, if you're just like, hey, I found this thing called anime. It's like Japanese animation cartoon of sorts. It's really cool. Their art is really good. The way they pick fight scenes is really good. I think it's really interesting. That's fine. You can like anime. But then white people just like colonize that shit. Then it's just like Vinny Hacker watching anime, so I started watching anime so that he would like me.
Which has even extended to cosplay.
I have seen the opposite a lot, where people just assume that every character must be white. And those people are weird, especially the ones that take that mindset and then apply it to cosplayers. Like, they have no problem with a white person cosplaying Naruto, and as far as they're concerned, it's a perfect match. But then a black person cosplays Naruto, and all of a sudden they have a problem with it. Those people are the weirdos.
With white people trying to ridicule black people for even participating in cosplay, hating on them every chance they get, and accusing them of trying to make Japanese anime characters black.
I'm just saying the character is not black. Right. The characters that we cosplay might not be black, but you know they're not white either. I mean, he is a saying, but he isn't that kind of monkey. Broly is not black. Why are you doing this?
Broly is black.
Broly
is the blackest one. Broly is the blackest.
That's like, I'm not sure if
give a
he's mentioning characters or not. I felt like he was, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, I don't follow.
Broly he comes from a single parent home. He was abused by his dad.
Wait a minute.
He's like the dynamic between Broly and Pataris is the same dynamic between Rampage Jackson and his son. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. All right, then. That's all.
But it kind of like, was saying the same type of stuff that we was saying. Like, it's not necessarily indicating that these characters are necessarily white either. Like, what he mentioned, he pronounced it Saiyan?
Saiyan.
Yeah, so like it's more of like a different, they make them seem like they come from more of like different planets or something than being different races. You know what I mean? Like that we can identify like ourselves with, but we just personify everything. But I can't lie. I mean, the picture of Naruto, like I would definitely guess that was a white boy. I'm sorry.
No, he for sure is. No, that
like, I don't think there's anything to be, that was.
Sasuke, which is Naruto's friend, now that's a nigga. That's a for sure nigga. That's a real nigga shit right there. But Naruto definitely is like the white boy. I ain't gonna lie to you.
But yeah, even the Asian girl, she just said they just colonized that joint. Like again, like this feeling like just because they're so used to having that position, I guess, in society, they act like they're the only people who can say what's officially, what the rules are for everything. And it's like, no, you don't have nothing to do with anime at all.
Nah, for real. Yeah, the only confusion I would get is just a simple fact, like I like when again, like you said, when we look at Naruto, that's a white boy. That's the only confusion that I would get about that. It's like, okay, when we look at these people, they seem like white people. So a white person would be like, okay, this is a white person. So if I see a black person trying to dress like this person, now I'm confused. My thing is like,
I don't know, Naruto's kind of black.
Yeah, maybe in character, but
he throws up gang signs, talks loud, and a bunch of extra dudes come out.
We got Zyrex in the building. She said Naruto not white. Man, okay, well, I'm just saying, as a person who is not familiar with anime, when I look at his what he looks like, I would guess that he was white.
Nah, he's a white dude. Yeah, I'm just joking.
He's definitely a blonde hair, blue eyed. Like, come on, like,
He just had a headband on, a bandana. My bad.
Bandana.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they got it.
Naruto's story arc. He should have been a school shooter. Honestly,
he
could have easily been a school shooter.
Oh man, okay. But that boy, yeah, he definitely could have went down the wrong route. But yeah, like I said, that's the big thing. They see it, But at the end of the day, this is characters. These are comic book characters. Like, I don't know. Go ahead.
All right, let's keep going. Because, like I said, it looks like they're going to put some actual comments up here on the screen.
They're not white either. I mean, he is a saying, but he isn't that kind of monkey. Broly is not black. Why are you doing this? What's your problem? What? I'm just being cannily accurate. It's not that serious.
It's
Oh, he's
canonically,
okay. So
but
he's
yeah.
simulating the comments.
Yeah, he
Okay.
simulated. It looked
No,
like he
it is.
simulated. Right.
Yeah, I was like, why does he keep talking like that? But I get it now.
Is that serious? Because what you're doing looks like racism.
And you see their ignorance is clear as day with tweets like this.
Not sure why everything needs to be this character, but make it black. Seems like an odd choice if you love the original characters.
But see,
You can't change the skin tone.
Some things I agree with on that, but yeah,
But
like where
LA,
it makes sense.
LA, you see how they're only bringing up social media examples. You know, this
Yeah.
is why I kind of be like, brother, you gotta expect this. Like, it's social media. It's literally a place, a playground for people to their deepest thoughts just to put it out there. You know what I mean? So it's like I wouldn't take it that serious. Like I wouldn't take it that serious. Like, honestly, like, because in real
Yeah.
life, these people are not going to say none of this shit. They probably going to be like, oh, you look nice. Oh, you trying to be Sailor Moon. You look, versus what they do online.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know, man. Because it's like, okay, especially if you're like an influencer. I'm not into anime or whatever. So it's like if you're doing this every day, like you gotta be comfortable with who you are. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
And just ignore all that other stuff because some people get a kick out of tearing folks down. Like I would hate to even see some of the comments of what they said after this young lady unfortunately took her own life. You feel me? Because even some people are assholes like that.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't even have any type of sympathy or anything for her. And like I said, just bringing up the fact that she was a 19-year-old person. That's just really that's too young to expect any type of real self-esteem or mental fortitude when it comes to that type of bullying online. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Not sure why everything needs to be this character, but make it black. Seems like an odd choice if you love the original characters. This is just a normal black woman cosplaying, by the way, which then leads to black people speaking.
I think they just mad because the girls be having body, and then like on top of that, the colors that are like associated with a lot of those characters look so good on black skin. Like even I've heard this from tattoo artists, like they encourage colors like turquoise and stuff like that to be used in tattoos for people with brown skin because it shows up so well. So I don't know. I think
Yeah.
they low key hating. And they be fitting out their outfits. But anyway, let me keep going.
Speaking out about that colonizing mentality.
When a Japanese creator wants to put black characters in her story and she creates a black man who's on the lighter side, people run to the comments to say that he's anything but black because they love the character, they love the black culture around him, but they hate the idea that he might actually be a black man. When Miles Morales puts on the mask,
Ooh,
he's not Spider-Man, he's Miles Morales, because Spider-Man can be any other race, any other gender, any other species, but he can't be a black person. Because Spider-Man can be any other race. Love the character, they love the black culture around him, but they hate the idea that he might actually be a black man.
Okay, so when they were talking about some of these characters who have more of a black feel to them, but people they'll accept that in terms of their circumstances, their personalities or whatever, but they're kind of resistant when it comes to actually admitting that might actually be a black character. How do y'all feel about that opinion? It's more of like, okay, well, we can accept the behavior as being black, but no, we can't accept the actual character being considered or see them as being actual black characters. Like y'all kept on saying like, okay, well, this character was like raised by a single parent, and you know what I'm saying, like all kinds of just different shit. Like I feel like in those instances, like it's okay to elude that these characters might be of a different race or might be black, but if you actually see it that way, then they're like, oh hell no. I thought that was interesting when he said that. But
yeah, you're gonna have those people that have those opinions. Like I said, I don't think that's the majority. It's probably an uncomfortable number, don't get me wrong, of people that believe these things. But no, man, a lot, like you said, a lot of characters actually look enhanced when they're black. I know sister that was doing the Hinata Yuga we were talking about earlier. I know that would be my preferred version of Hinata.
Okay.
Honestly.
I'm trying to tell you, they be making them out, man. I swear. Like I said, I get it. You know, of course, pink hair, not for every day and stuff. But like I said, when these girls be doing it, like really putting these outfits and costumes together, they look amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Skin glowing in the right places, man, that should be looking amazing.
When Miles Morales puts on the mask, he's not Spider-Man, he's Miles Morales, because Spider-Man can be any other race, any other gender, any other species, but he can't be a black person. When a Japanese person creates a manga to highlight the struggle of mixed race people in Japan and it follows a black mixed race girl, met with none but racism and controversy.
She is black. She didn't make it black. You sound dumb. But racism and negativity like that is what led to a black girl really into cosplay on social media, self-deleting.
Ashley, who went by the username SquidKid1111, she was a cosplayer that cosplayed anime characters. Her cosplays are amazing. If we scroll through her page, you guys cannot tell me these aren't good cosplays. But wait, some people will say they aren't good because she's black. Unfortunately, racism is still very much a thing in today's world. Ashley's family made a post announcing the passing of Ashley. They revealed in a recent story post that she received many disgusting racist comments. All these comments built up dark thoughts within Ashley, and she decided to exit the world. Fans should be able to cosplay any character that they like, and they shouldn't have to worry about receiving racist comments.
The fact that we lost another angel to racism in this community is absolutely unacceptable. This should not be happening ever. The fact that people say, oh, the racism isn't that serious in this community and in the world. Yes, it is.
Which is just sad in and of itself. But I honestly didn't know how delusional these people were until I responded to Afro Rose tweet. And I said something really simple that I thought everybody just knew were fact. The funniest thing is most anime characters are Japanese, but nobody has a problem with white people making them white. And as you can see, that led to a whole bunch of discussion, arguments, and of course, racism just spiraling out. With, again, white people really exposing that colonizer mentality and how they see the world, with everything just being default white and made for them.
And a part that makes me genuinely mad, like genuinely makes me want to tweak out when I hear people talk about what happened to this young lady, is that I'm hearing people say, oh, because this is something that's been wrong with the community for a while now. No, say what it is. This is the culture built around a lot of these online spaces, and people find it perfectly acceptable until a situation like this happens where a young girl loses her life.
But I'm Jew. Welcome to the channel. Please like and share the video. Don't forget to sub now.
It looks like that was the end of that one. I wish that I'm trying to sit here and wait for to actually hear or see some of these TikToks from people who have a problem with this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's nice to see comments and kind of get a synopsis, but there's got to be some videos actually out there of people who have a problem with this.
I would assume so, but you're not gonna find too many because that was my whole point with bringing up that. And RIP to the lady. I didn't know that she died or she ended up taking her life. But yeah, like I was saying earlier, you're not going to see these people in real life. Like, you're not going to see these people. They're going to keep their deepest, because these are like their deepest, darkest thoughts, really, that they're just expressing out here, to the point where they're saying all this other goofy stuff about cosplaying at that. This is not even like you're I guess auditioning for the actual role in an upcoming movie or something. This is just you going to a darn event dressed as a character. So, like I said, that's insane. That's a little different. But yeah, definitely. Go ahead.
No, that was the end of that one. I also saw, and Omni, I know that you have like a gaming channel, right?
Yep.
Do you see, where is this? He said, Uncle Take says they do the same thing in video games as well. You see this kind of trend in terms of video. I'm not sure exactly what he's talking about. Maybe the representation or how they portray the characters, but do you see that in video games too?
Oh, yeah.
I would say that they've gotten better about it recently, but there's been underrepresentation of black characters. in video games. Like a game I played, Warframe, they just did an update and they just got long dreadlocks in the game. Like, and this game has been
As an
out since
option?
and this game
Okay.
has been out since 2012.
Wow.
Yeah, it's things like that. So there's underrepresentation, and so when you're making a black character, there's a limited way that you can. There's limited features that you can use. I'll put it that way. So
Right.
that sort of thing, and cosplaying. Cosplaying is big for characters as well. So if you limit the customization of a black character in the game, then what can you do, what I'm saying, for cosplaying options? If I want to be black and be that character, I'm going to just be the black version of that character and you're going to have to put up with it. So that's what it is. They want to limit us just because the art itself was limited. No, cosplaying, me expressing ourselves. Black people have always done that. We took rock and we made hip hop. Yeah, we just gonna remix it and we gonna make it our own thing. You don't have to verify it. Matter of fact, you know what I'm saying? Your verification, your validity is not required.
Yeah.
It's just
And
what it is.
another thing in video games, right? Like I don't know if y'all heard of this, but there was this big controversy with I don't know if it was Assassin's Creed, I believe it was, but it was some video game where basically they were making a black Japanese samurai. The main character was a black samurai, and it was this whole kerfuffle, whatever you want to call it, where it was just like Japanese people ain't black, Japanese people. And then it was like the black folks was like, well, the original samurais, some of them were black. It was this whole big controversy. So yes, definitely in video games it happens for sure. And I don't know if it was Assassin's Creed or what was it, but it was. Look up the latest Black Samurai video game, and I'm pretty sure you can find something about it.
Yeah, it's funny. And it just, I wish that the company would have actually lasted. I actually worked for a black owned animation company back in like 2003 maybe. They were a startup and I was hired as a script writer. So they actually were working on animation for the Dungeon family because they wanted to do a video game like Lord of the Rings, epic, with different scenes and stuff in between. And we had some people come through. I met 8 Ball, Mace came through to the studio, and also the guy, what's his name? I don't know what his real name is, but he was Play in Kid and Play.
Oh yeah,
because him and Mace by this time had given their lives over to the Lord and wanted some. I think they wanted some animation done for like Christian content or whatever. So it was a really cool opportunity, but startup come. I don't know, somebody messed up the bag, man. They couldn't afford to pay us anymore. Had to start letting us go. But that was dope, man. If we had more creators, I think it would just give more options, you know what I'm saying, of actual black characters, if that's really the issue. I don't think it is, but for the people who or even would prefer to be more black characters, if we actually made them, you know what I'm saying, would just give people more options.
Yeah, because when I was a kid, right, there was none. Like now, I can say that for like the newer generation, like my son's generation, they got at least, well, I don't know if y'all heard of it, but Craig of the Creek, Craig of the Creek.
I love that show.
I like that show too. Craig of the Creek, to me, was really the first black main character, black family character cartoon show. You know what I mean? To be honest with you. Other than that, I mean, of course, you had like what Fat Albert and Gang, you had them back in the day, but I'm talking about like for our modern day cartoons, like that was the first one that I seen personally. So it's like, it's definitely what's the word? It's definitely a drought. It's definitely a drought for sure.
Yeah, I think so too. But I mean, there's so many people who are talented. I think, if some of these tattoo artists would, actually put together some other projects and things like that, with, or just artists in general. Like, I don't know, but is that too? Because a lot of people, even in the chat, are saying like, they like these topics, but it's like this is like when we nerd out. You know what I'm saying? Do you think that people are worried more about that type of stereotype in terms of like creating things on their own? Do you think that they would be considered nerds, especially as black men or women who might be into this type of genre or whatever and want to create their own characters, images, and things like that?
Yeah. Well, you
Or
definitely
they
got to
just
prove
worried
yourself.
about the wrong things?
Yeah, I would say you definitely got to prove yourself to a lot of black folks. That's one thing about us. Like you can't just be talking, saying that you're gonna be an animator. And even when you do become an animator, you still gonna have to prove yourself a little bit. You know what I mean? Uh,
Mhm.
get your name out there and get a little bit famous before I feel like a lot of us would be like backing you. There is people that would just back you because they want to support black businesses.
Mhm.
Uh, but most of us, it's like you got to prove yourself. You know what I mean? That's how I feel. Like I'm gonna have to see you on Cartoon Network for me to actually believe you a
Yeah.
you an animator. You know what I mean? That's how some folks is. But
Right. But like similar, like I was mentioning even earlier, like how we how we've taken over back control, like especially when it comes to our image, when it comes to music and stuff, because now we have the ability to put it out ourselves. You can be more of an independent, you can promote it independently and build your own fan base instead of having to be subservient or be a slave to the music industry and,
yeah, the
and
360.
making yeah, and making music that you don't enjoy and being forced into an image that you can't control. So I
Yeah.
think that's the same thing, especially with the come on, man, like, social media and all that stuff. But I don't know. Again, I don't know if people feel like it's a cool thing to do, but there's so much money in video games. And I mean, I think they're making more money than the actual than the movies, the movie entertainment, like sector or whatever. Like people aren't really going to the movies like they used to. They're spending more money on video games.
Yeah, yeah.
Red Bull is sponsoring gamers. You feel me? Like
Yep.
I remember seeing a whole like news I guess like segment about it. It was some almost like a Super Bowl type of environment for video games. People were just paying tickets to sit in these stadiums to watch this video game tournament that was happening all over, I guess in different parts of the country or whatever. And I was just like, damn, like people actually would pay money to sit in a stadium and watch people play video games on a big screen. Like I don't know. It was crazy to me, but obviously it's a huge market.
Yeah, it's a new thing for sure. I think that the EA Sport championships and all them,
Mhm.
especially for like Call of Duty, like them Call of Duty events. It's that me. I'm not that deep. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't watching that shit. Like I ain't watching that. But
Right.
there's a lot of people that will for sure.
Mhm.
And you know what's crazy,
There's
LA?
lots of money in it. Uh-huh, go ahead.
Back in the day, and I remember this clear. Back in the day, it used to be a video game channel called G4 TV. It was a gamers channel. This was like in '03, '04. They used to show the Madden tournaments and
Mhm.
everything.
Really?
This is
Really? I
yep,
didn't
it
know
was
that.
called it was called G4. It's called G4 TV, channel for gamers. And they give you news on the latest game that's coming out. Like I said, they had the Madden tournament, um, a lot of stuff. They used to have different news shows as far as when it came to video games and stuff like that. You can actually find some of the old footage on YouTube. But yeah, like it's been pretty big business for a very long time. I can remember getting the Game Informer magazine when I was young, buying the Game Informer magazine to see what games was coming out, when they were supposed to be released and all of that, like, at 12, 13 years old. So yeah,
Mhm.
it's been very big business for a long time. It's just that the internet has made it larger. And yeah, it's a lot of people that want to go and watch these tournaments because for a lot of people, video games is an escape, and it's it's something to do that's fun, that's entertaining, that a lot of people really enjoy. So yeah, it's going to definitely remain to be big business too, especially as time progresses.
That's a fact.
Well, shoot. Again, as I know it's going to take work, but I mean, a lot of these, if you want to do music or anything creative, it's going to take work and, to some type of consistency. But again, look into that money factor. There's lots of money to be made.
Yeah, because it's like we gotta. I ain't gonna lie to you, because this is what we was talking about on DJ's channel. I think the other day, like, it's got to be more than just trapping, hustling. It's just got to be more than that. That's just being pushed. That's being influenced on people. Because it's just so many things. Like I don't know if y'all remember when y'all was kids, but like I wanted to be everything when I was a kid. I wanted to be from the president to the maintenance man. Yeah. Like I wanted to be the
Yeah,
president, maintenance man. When I was a kid, and then it's like once you get older and being a teenager, that stuff just started to cut down to what you think you can possibly be. So it's a lot that can be thrown out there other than your local rapper, whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Just real quick, I wanted to just give another shout out to everybody that's in the building watching right now. And let me see here. Raj Will was going on. Sorry I didn't say hi earlier, Uncle Take. And welcome to all the new subscribers. Make sure that you hit the like button on the way in. Let me see here. I did have but like I said, I mean, again, yeah, people need to start getting outside of, like I said, the stereotypes. Like you're more than just a trapper. Like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of black people like a lot of quote unquote nerdy things. You know what I'm saying? Like I just spent like all my my free time after I got done with my, with running around and obligations, watching The Hobbit. Like I love science fiction. But that doesn't make me any less black. You know what I'm saying? Like some people just need to get out of their head when it comes to that shit. Because, again, when we talking about image, and what we don't want to be seen as anymore, like then start moving outside of that. Start acting different. Start showing, or liking or just trying some different, different interests out. You never know what you would like. And it's okay to like things that other people in your neighborhood don't like.
Yeah. That's why I thank God for like people like Kanye, even though he's crazy as hell now. Like the
Right.
whole 2005-6 era of Kanye that was like, I'm black, but I don't have to be no tank top, bulletproof wearing, bulletproof hat, bulletproof shoes, like 50 Cent said. You know what I mean? I don't have to be that. I can be a polo wearing, anime watching, whatever you want to consider it. I still can be considered black. You know what I mean? That's a good thing.
Yep. And it's not going to stop you from, getting the type of attention from, the opposite sex that you want. None of that stuff. Like,
right.
Because you still going to have your own swag, but this is just something that you're into. And that's, I don't know. But yeah, them people, I guess they're always going to have something to say. I just, I hope my folks out there who, like I said, they enjoy this cosplay and they enjoy their anime, like shoot, just stand 10 toes down on that shit. Fuck 'em.
That's okay.
All right, I did find another video because you guys have brought this up, and since you're up here, Rakim, I'm not sure you don't even have to you don't have to like comment too much on this one. I'm not sure how busy you are, but I did have a video saved of you see here. This is called How a Minstrel Show Became Jim Crow Law. So it's kind of like, I guess, talking more about when we talked about our old image and how people were trying to portray us. So this goes all the way back to the minstrel show.
Uh-oh.
Let me see here. Right? Let me see here. Because I mean, like I said, so like we have so much more control now, but at the same time, it's like what we're choosing to do with it is kind of crazy. Let's see here.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Jim Crow was the name of a racial caste system which consisted primarily in the South between 1877 and the mid 1960s. And if this is the type of content that you enjoy, you can find more content like this on MikeHistory.com. Also, if you want to support the channel, you can do so at my Patreon page or my Buy Me Coffee in the description below. Also, please give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and subscribe to the channel. But without further ado, let's get started. The term Jim Crow derives from early 19th century minstrel shows. It was a popular form of entertainment, which is the predecessor to vaudeville. The shows consisted of a primarily white song and dance performer cruelly mimicking African Americans for the enjoyment of white audiences. One of the earliest and most famous was Thomas Daddy Rice, who devised a strutting, dancing character supposedly mimicking a prancing crow, and the character became known as Jim Crow. How the character named Jim Crow became a general term for America's racial segregation and discrimination is not known, but at some point during the 19th century, the term ceased to have anything to do with minstrel shows because their popularity had started to wane and instead signified the practice of disenfranchising, physically discriminating against African Americans. From the very beginning, Jim Crow was a way of life. Under Jim Crow, African Americans were relegated to the status of second-class citizens. Jim Crow was underpinned by the belief or the rationalization that whites were superior to blacks in intelligence, morality, and civilized behavior. Many Christian ministers taught whites that they were the chosen people, and blacks were cursed to be servants. God supported racial segregation. Additionally, at almost every education level, they taught the belief that blacks were innately, intelligently, culturally inferior to whites. Pro-segregation politicians gave speeches about the dangers of integration and the mixing of races. Newspapers and magazines routinely referred to blacks as niggas and coons, and their articles reinforced anti-black stereotypes. Any activity that suggested social equality encouraged interracial unions, and interracial unions could produce a mixed race that would destroy America. Therefore, violence must be used to keep blacks in their place. In fact, during the 30s, when the Nazis had set out to disenfranchise and discriminate against their Jewish citizens, they closely studied the laws of Jim Crow in the United States. They admired the Jim Crow era laws and debated whether they should introduce a similar system of segregation in Germany. Additionally, when the idea of banning Jewish and Aryan marriages were presented to the Nazis, they once again looked to America to adopt an idea similar to the one-drop rule that stipulated that anyone with one drop of black ancestry was legally black and could not marry a white person. Jim Crow.
You know what? It's really fast. It's interesting, and I've heard this, especially from other races of people. They wonder what and why we keep harping on like the whole chattel slavery system. And when we say because there was no other like system like it, that is a fact. There is some type of weird obsession, even when it comes to like Europe, and how they watched us from afar. Like they were just talking about how Germany and, all that stuff, they were studying Jim Crow because it was so crazy and extreme. It's obviously none of the other world had seen that type of method if they're sitting there studying us. So regardless of other, slave trades that happened, that kind of like, the observation of how we were doing things in the Americas kind of like indicates that they weren't doing it the same way that we was doing it. You know what I'm saying? Or they wouldn't have to look at us as a model for it.
Took place in two distinct forms: Jim Crow etiquette and Jim Crow laws, i.e. black codes. Jim Crow etiquette governed how African Americans should behave in white society, and sometimes the etiquette would vary from person to person. For instance, Black males could not offer their hand to shake to a white male or any other part of their body to a white female. Black males couldn't even light the cigarette of a white female. Blacks and whites were not supposed to eat together, but if they did eat together, whites would be served first. A black couple was not allowed to show affection towards one another in public. Whites did not use courtesy titles of respect when referring to African Americans, like Mr. or Mrs. or ma'am. Instead, blacks were referred to by their first name. But blacks absolutely had to use courtesy titles when referring to whites and could not use their first name. This informality of whites using the first names instead of courtesy titles caused many African Americans to start using initials for their first name. Jim Crow etiquette operated in conjunction with Jim Crow laws, i.e. black codes. Black codes excluded blacks from things like public transportation and facilities, juries, jobs, neighborhoods. The passage of the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment to the Constitution granted blacks some of the same legal protections as whites. However, after the Compromise of 1877, the South and border states began restricting the liberties of African Americans once again. Over the next few years, segregation and disenfranchisement picked up pace in the South, and it was more or less tolerated in the North. In 1890, Louisiana passed the separate car law. This Louisiana law made it illegal for blacks to sit in coach seats reserved for whites, and whites couldn't sit in coach seats reserved for blacks. The idea was to aid passenger comfort by creating equal but separate facilities for blacks and whites. But this was a joke. Almost no public accommodations, including railway travel, provided blacks with equal facilities. So in 1891, a group of blacks decided to test the Jim Crow law. They had a man by the name of Homer Plessy, who was 1/8 black, sit in the white-only coach section. And he was, of course, promptly arrested. Plessy's lawyers argued that Louisiana did not have the right to label one citizen as black and another as white for the purpose of restricting their rights and privileges. On May 18, 1896, the Supreme Court delivered its verdict, and by a 7-2 vote declared the separate but equal facilities constitutional on interstate railroads. The court ruled that the protections of the 14th Amendment applied only to political and civil rights and not social rights. Judge Henry Brown wrote, to consist in the assumption that the enforced separation of two cards stamps the colored race with a badge of inferiority. If this be so, it is not by any reason found in the act, but solely because the colored.
Okay, I thought this was going to be a little bit more insightful. They're telling us a lot of things that a lot of us do know already, which is basically the whole, just creating the characters and the way that they would, present themselves while depicting African Americans, just kind of just help with, usher in all kinds of silly, ordinances, laws, and stuff like that. So, yeah, it kind of did continue. I'm glad, like I said, that you and I guess like you, Keon, your generation and stuff like that. Like, I don't know, since you guys were born in to be exposed to so much more. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't affect you as much. And I'm glad that it is like that for you. Because I'm telling you, even if you were a kid, you weren't understanding what was going on, but still for some strange reason, it still made sense. Like when you went out into the world, you know what I'm saying? Like it's weird. It's hard to describe.
Yeah, and I ain't gonna lie to you because I'm maybe it's probably because of my other influences like my religion and stuff. That's probably why I'm even, looking at it in a different aspect. I ain't gonna lie to you. A lot of people would probably look at it more from maybe a Rakim or LA when they looking at this type of stuff. Well, not even probably you LA, but certain other people, they'll look at it and be like, you know what, this is racist. This is just completely racist. Or they'll look at them cosplaying and look at the comments and be like, man, this is racist. This is just. But like I say, I grew up in this. I wouldn't say I participated in it, but I definitely, I was in them lobbies in them Call of Duty Modern Warfare lobbies, you know, where all they was calling you an N-word. I was getting called an N-word at 9 years old, you know, like, you know, this is how I grew up, because that's the internet. That was the internet at the time. So it's like I'm used to it. I know that this is how shitty people can get. But there's certain individuals who's just like, man, I can't. Even in my generation, they still like, man, I can't. You know, I can't deal with this. This is some bullshit. But you know, go ahead.
No, you're fine. I mean, I get it, you know. And I was talking to somebody else. Like, it's just a difference, you know. Like when you meet your, you know, you of course you know your grandparents, and even you might even have a chance to get to know who your great grandparents are, and you
Yeah.
actually get to, you know, these are people who were born in the early 1900s. Like, can you imagine what the world looked like and all the stuff that they've seen? So when you
Yep.
sit and you talk to them, it just hits a little different, you know what I mean, than you know, people who, if you're talking to, you know, people who were born in the 80s or whatever, like their experience is going to be different. But like my generation was exposed to all of those stories. You know, we had to spend a week with your grandparents in the summertime. You know what I'm saying? You had to do certain things. Like you had to go to
Yes.
things like homecoming out there in the country of Athens, you know, where the church looked like fucking color purple. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I'm serious. Like you see what your great grandparents are, you know what I'm saying? So you hear a lot of stories. That's what they be doing in their pastimes sometimes. Or at least they want to, you know, they just want the younger people to know. So I get it that, you know, the younger generations, like it's just different exposure. But for people who kind of like, I know how to recognize racism. It don't really, like, as long as it's not like affecting me directly, then
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really gonna be doing, you know, getting all up in arms and stuff. But at the
Yeah.
same time, it's pretty easy for me to like just observe some shit, be like, oh yeah, I know what you're doing. You on that
Yeah,
racist, you
because
know what I'm saying? Like you on that racist shit.
exactly.
Because everything has a, you know, comes from something. You know what I'm saying? And it
Yeah.
starts very small, or even just the inference when, you know, as times change, the language had to change. You know, now we can sue for obvious discrimination. So their language had to change. You feel what I'm saying? Back then, they can be raw with it. You know what I'm saying? And couldn't nobody
Yeah.
do anything about it. So it's like just knowing how things have evolved, you know, it just gives you a little bit more of a you know, just indicate of who you dealing with and stuff like that. And like I said, it might not matter to some people, but I mean, we even kind of admit even now, I mean, tribalism is still a thing.
Yeah.
And you know, we have these political situations going on, and or whether it be about immigration or whatever, that's when you really going to start to see how people really feel. So I think that it's beneficial for folks to just, like I said, at least know history. You don't have to get triggered by it every single time that you hear it, but like I said, just know how to recognize it, because things change too much. And it's when it comes down to, like I said, at the end of the day, folks be clicking up. So you know, the
Exactly.
people who you think might have your back might not have your back like that. And then that's when your heart gonna be broke. You know what I'm saying? Like when you should have known that the whole time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because
let me
it's not too many times, right? Where, like, for instance, for my generation, right, and for people that live today, you can call me the N word so many times. I Like you said, if you know history, these people was getting called the N word and getting lynched. Like, you know, these people getting called the N word, and they buildings was getting bombed. So that's a whole different situation. Like, that's why, to me, it's like, I ain't no way that you can tell me that I'm going through the same stuff that the ancestors went through. Like, you know, that it's a
right.
whole different struggle. And for me, it kind of pisses me off a little bit, where it makes it seem as though like it's still the same thing. Like, it's still the same rate. No, brother, they was putting hands on people back in them days. Like our great grandparents and stuff, they really had to run from this stuff. They really had to like hide from people because they was getting tracked down to get lynched. Like, and that's why, to me, it's like, man, you can call me the N word all you want to. I'm gonna still get probably pissed off about it, but I'm gonna still be like, well, this ain't nowhere near compared to what, you know, Martin and them had to deal with. You know, that's how I look at it.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. It's just, but at the same time, it's like, you know, like I said, how your peoples felt about this certain shit. So it's like you almost, some people be mad for on behalf, you know what
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
saying, of the
right.
ancestors, or be like, shoot, I know my great grandfather didn't get to say this, so I'm gonna make sure I say it to your ass. You know, like some people are just on that type of time. But at the same, but additionally, like, you know, we know that, especially as Black people, we would never go to our elders and be like, well, Nana, you know that was a long time ago, right? They'd be
Yeah, no.
totally respectful, you know what I'm saying? So we have to honor at least, you know, like the things that they went through, but don't let it control your life, you know what I'm saying? Or any, you know, or anything like that. Bring any type of extra drama or stress, you know, because everybody is not out to get you, but just, you know, stay vigilant, you know what I'm saying? Pay attention to who you got around you, you know what I'm saying, and who you I guess are loyal to, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
As long as it's
Exactly.
reciprocated and shit, it is what it is. But Omni, you still there? Probably playing video games. Oh, he's quiet.
Yeah, I'm still
All
here.
right.
I'm still
Oh,
here.
okay.
Yeah, I'm just listening. You know, I took up so much airspace on, you know what I'm saying, when I jumped in.
Oh,
I'm just chilling
please.
back for a second. You know what I mean? I'm
No,
just
see, I
chilling.
always give myself enough time. I'm like at the beginning of the show to like go ahead and definitely get out all the things that I want to say. So yeah, like I definitely, you know, like the back and forth and the participants. So you're not, you know, you're not doing too much, man. Say, you know, if you ever have
Got you.
yeah, opinion, just, you know what I'm saying, throw it on out there.
Right.
But yeah, I thought that was interesting. Yeah, I didn't see anybody covering it. It happened a few weeks ago. Um, and there's so many times where I hear you guys, you know, talking about, like I said, these different shows and, you know, stuff like that. So it's like I know it's you know, this is a genre that we enjoy. I just didn't know it was such a big deal, like behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah. So
Yeah.
that was the, I don't know. I don't know. It's always something. It's always something. Um, but shouts out to all the cosplay, you know, ladies and gents out there, because they be doing the thing. I can't even lie. I can't even lie. They
Absolutely.
look
They be
amazing.
looking good, boy.
What? Oh
Absolutely.
my
They got it on
goodness.
point. It's an art
Miss
form in
Joy.
and of itself, honestly.
It is. Because they be transforming. And even when you think that like some of these weird like industries, like I knew like white guys, you know what I'm saying, who knew how to do like special effects when it came to like prosthetics for makeup,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying, or think like people, like I live in Atlanta, so it's like that's not necessary. It might be seen as a silly hobby or something like that, but with all the movie and TV theaters that are down here,
Mm-hmm.
like you can actually do something with that. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
yeah, it's definitely an art form.
that's a fact. That's
And
a fact.
I want more Black people to get into that. Like, shoot, we are super creative.
Yeah, but it get to a point too, right? Because I ain't gonna lie to you, man. When I was growing up, anime was nerd stuff, right? It turned into like around 2015, 2014 ish. It became a trend. And then you start seeing all the little bad females trying to do the cos. I ain't gonna lie to you. It did seem like it was overplayed after a while with the anime stuff, because it just seemed like now we just doing it because it's cool. We're not doing it because we like it anymore. That's what it seemed like during that time. But I'm pretty sure these women, you know, these women that's cosplaying, they watch the show. You know, I ain't gonna throw that out there, but it do seem like they, because a lot of women, they just fine in general. So they know, since they just, you know, since they just look good in general, why not, you know, gain, I guess, followers through this, you know, this group of individuals who, you know, lack female interaction. Like they know a lot of niggas that watch anime at the time wasn't talking to no women. It wasn't a very, you know, it
It's a
wasn't
fact.
like, so it's like they go online, they dress up as Lola Bunny, or they dress up as what's that girl name or they dress up as an anime girl, and now they got all the anime niggas on them. So that's my only gripe with that. But other than that, though,
But that's a perfect match, though. Anime dude with the anime girl. Like, what's wrong with that?
Are you really an anime girl? That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
Are
if you
you?
don't actually know about if you don't actually, you just, yeah, I get the anime grift. I get what you're talking
Exactly.
about. I get what you're talking
The
about.
anime
For
grift.
sure.
Anime
Yeah,
grift.
the
That is
anime
hilarious.
grift. Yeah.
So,
For sure.
okay. So maybe like especially when it comes to some of these content creators, like they just probably making so much money off of just presenting themselves that way, but not necessarily that way. Is that maybe
Yeah,
what you?
but not exactly. They don't know nothing about the character that they actually dressing up at. Like, because that's what they used to say about Megan Thee Stallion. Because Megan Thee Stallion supposedly is a big blurred type of girl, where she's big in the anime, but the only animes that she's quote unquote dressing up as is like the
Shonen Jump.
mainstream. Yeah, like the
Oh,
mainstream
okay.
anime. So it's like, are you really an anime girl, or are you just doing it because you got a fat ass and niggas that like anime
Right.
like that?
Yeah,
Okay, I see what you're
every
saying.
character she did was Shonen Jump, Funimation.
Come on now.
Yeah, those are the One Piece, the Dragon Ball Z, the Naruto. She even has Naruto bars. And hold on, she said she was a wild fox looking for a Sasuke, and I'm like,
like nigga, that don't even make sense. What the
it
fuck
don't,
is it?
it don't,
I'm
it
just
don't
glad
at
that y'all
all.
know what that means. That you know it
So
means. It doesn't make no sense because I'd have been like, what?
right.
Oh god.
Right. It's a very niche thing. And so, yeah, it seems like there's a grift. Like, Ice Spice was Sailor Moon for Halloween.
Yeah.
Sailor Moon is everybody knows who Sailor Moon is in the anime.
Right.
Everybody knows it. Even if you're not of the anime world, you probably heard the name Sailor Moon once or twice. So, yeah, they're not doing like they're not dressing up like Balalaika from Black Lagoon or anything like that. They're choosing mainstream individuals. Like the common trope is every girl, you know what I'm saying, every girl with big titties goes straight into Lady Tsunade.
Lady Tsunade. I can
Lady
see.
Tsunade every time.
Well, a
Every
lot of the
time.
characters are quite busty anyway,
That's
so
a fact.
that's the only thing that kind of bothered me about it. And maybe honestly was the main reason why I stayed away from it. Because I'm like, why are these cartoons, but they all look, it's super sexualized. Like everything's jiggling and you know what I mean? Like
You
super
gotta understand their
voluptuous. The
audience.
skirt is short. I mean, I get it now, but when I was younger, I was like, oh, this is some perv shit. Like, I'm not watching this.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, and oh shoot. Well, Barb says she's not into that. She says that's childish. But I'm not gonna lie to you, Barb.
We're
A
gonna
lot of
call her
niggas.
boring. No, because this is what they do. This is what they do to men that, you know what I'm saying. This is what they do to men that aren't into what they're into. They call him boring because, you know what I'm saying, he go to work and come home, and
Having
you know what I'm
an
saying, he
anime
went to school
conversation.
and had a decent GPA. So yeah, we're gonna call any chick that doesn't know anything about anime or comics boring. That's the response, and that's how we doing it going into 2026. No, I'm playing barbs, but
I'm about to say, well, you're boring, Barb. You're boring, Barb.
no,
But
but
yeah,
I'm saying,
that's what
I'm
they
saying
say.
like,
It just depends. I mean, if they like eat, sleep, drink, like the sheets, there's figurines everywhere, like everything's got to be like it. Like,
yeah, that's
yeah,
kind
I
of
would see that's
much.
a bit too much. But I mean, if
A bit
that's
too
just
much.
something that you like, you know what I'm saying, and you just like to do on your spare time or whatever, I don't have a problem with that. I remember, I have a friend. Like I said, he's a girl dad, and he makes them costumes every single time. Mortal Kombat, whatever she wants. You know what I'm saying? And it's something that helps them bond. And they do it, they go together because her mom she's not into stuff like that. But she wants to do it, so her dad takes her. I think that's sweet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, and another thing too, Barb. That's the thing about it, right? It might be childish, but these niggas, boy, I'm trying to tell you, like they got all this money to go buy these costumes. Like you gotta think, where is this money coming from? These niggas is literally saving money just for these moments, and only for these moments. You might want to try a nigga out, Barb, because he might got 50,000 saved up just so he can dress up.
Right, buy them expensive costumes. You know what I'm saying? Ball out.
Exactly. You
Take
can
you out of
change that,
town.
Barb.
Right. Take you out of town. He'll go to the convention. You just, you know what I'm saying? You go and sightsee or go to the spa or whatever. Y'all meet
Come
back
on now.
afterwards.
Come on now. I'm pretty sure you'll dress up as Tsunade boy once he throw a little change at you. You know what I mean?
Like
That's
that's
a
just
fact.
today, right? Like tomorrow we'll do something. We'll take you shopping. She be like, okay.
Exactly. But yeah, that's the only thing that I had a problem with is just that there was a certain time where it was like, you know, it was a grift going on in the anime community, and a lot of niggas, including myself, was falling for that on Twitter. Because I mean, again, you can't deny the voluptuous. You know, at least me personally, you know, I
But
can't say no.
okay, and maybe I'm just okay. I could be stereotyping y'all fellas. So if I am, I apologize. But with men being such visual creatures, like I mean, does it really matter if she cares about anime if she's just online
No,
presenting herself in the way that you like to see her?
no, not
So
at
what's
all.
the grift then?
The grift is that she knows that, right? She knows that she knows that she's only there because, or she's only liked because of this and that instead, but you're acting like, okay, I'm really just into the anime. That's when it becomes the grift. It's just it depends on the girl, you know, or the man. I guess I don't know women following men because they dressing up, but you know, it just depends on the person itself. If they're sitting up there and saying like this big anime fan and yada yada yada, and in all reality you're not, then that's when it's like that's a grift, you know. But like you can't prove that. How can you prove that? You know, how can you prove that a nigga lying that he don't like a genre of cartoons? Like, you know, how can you prove it?
Yeah. Good luck. You know. Well, I mean, there's probably some trivia questions that you could ask for true fans, but
yeah,
Man, it's
they
a
could
grift.
study
It's
though.
all a grift.
Anyway.
It's a grift. That's a grift. Listen, I'm the type of dude that thinks the strip club is a grift. Like,
Oh man,
it's a grift.
I can see it.
It's a grift because I'm setting up
That's
the illusion.
hilarious.
No, because I've actually in this city, I should say, I've actually had you know, strippers hit me up on Facebook asking me to come out to the club and whatnot, and I'm like, I'm not into spending money on women that I'm not gonna touch or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not.
Oh,
It's
they hit y'all
That's a
up
fact.
now? Damn.
Yeah, our
On
strip
social
clubs
media?
from what I hear, our strip clubs out here are not that good. I've never been to the strip club because it's not. I like the reality of women, not the fantasy. So I just want the actual. You know what I'm saying? I want the actual experience. I don't want you to shake your butt in my face and then I go home after. It's not a good time for me.
Yeah, not a good time. Blue balls
got
just
something But if you got something at home, it can just warm you
I
up
got
a
something
little
at
bit.
home. Yeah.
LA.
I don't know. I'm not encouraging this. Do what you like.
A lot of folks aren't fortunate. LA. I ain't. Sometimes we can't have nothing at home. We go home to nothing. You know.
I get it. I try. I'm hearing and I believe your experience. You know what I'm saying? I trust you on that one.
But I'm with him though. I don't like strip clubs like that personally because I feel like it gets into you know, you excite me for nothing. Like you get me excited just so I can go home and, you know, talk to my hand. I guess you know what I mean. Like it's just I can't. I don't like that personally. I feel that.
Well, I mean, like, okay, well, you probably wouldn't do this, but like, don't you think it's better than people doing the virtual reality stuff? Having the virtual girlfriends and going to the virtual strip club and all that stuff. I mean, it saves you some money, but like, would you rather have the real thing in that instance?
Nah, because I think it gives you the same excitement. Like you seeing some ass shake on over a TV screen versus you seeing some ass shake in front of you. I think it's the same. It's the same thing. You know what I mean?
But what about the guys who are, like you said, are unfortunate, like just all around? You know what I'm saying? When it comes to the ladies, don't get no type of action, stimulation, nothing. You don't think that it'd be okay? You like good for them if they can't get it no other way?
Yeah, look, personally, I'm not even really against it of going because I would go on like a birthday or something like that. But my thing is this, that it's not as exciting as people make it seem like. Like, nigga, you walking in there throwing hundreds or throwing 20s, hell, throwing pennies, nigga. Whatever you throwing, you in there throwing money just so you can get a hard, you know what I mean, and nothing happens. You know, that's how I look at it. So, but if you ain't getting nothing, then that's the only way you can get some. Honestly, I would say you should save your money and go buy you a, you know, buy you something. There's a lot out here selling. So, but you know, that's just me though.
Damn.
You can get a lot with $200. Shit, I know. What you talking about? What you talking about?
Okay, yeah, you want to self-incriminate yourself, bro. Like,
Yeah, I'm just letting you know. Shit, you know.
entertainment. I don't know. That's funny. I don't know. But I don't know. I think that's pretty much all I had today. I know we at the strip club. We started with anime, and now we at the strip club. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Do you guys have any final thoughts in terms of just the overall topic of you know, just people just enjoying whatever they enjoy? Start there.
Well, no, technically, I just say, you know, be who you are. You know, that's always, you know, my whatever you want to call it, my motto. You know, just be who you are. Don't let people change who you are. You know, don't let outside circumstances change who you are on the inside. If you like Naruto, you know, don't let either you know, Pan Africans who's telling you that it's racist, or you know, white people that's telling you can't be somebody because you're black. You know, I wouldn't let that change the fact that I like this thing. You know, that's my main message with the whole thing.
There's Pan Africans telling you that is that's crazy.
Everybody's got an opinion these days, trying to tell someone that, you know, they ain't doing something right. It's strange, but you know, that's what I don't know. I'm glad that I actually get to work in the public, so it gives me a different perspective than this stuff that I see online. Because I was saying earlier, you know, these people who are trying to gain wisdom without actually experiencing or living something they behind a computer screen, like, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. All you're gonna end up doing is just repeating things that you've heard other people say, you know, that fits your bias or your narrative or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But it's not necessarily the truth.
Facts, all facts.
You got anything, Omni, before we get out of here?
Oh, like the brother said, be yourself, because the German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche said, people are hell. Was it Friedrich Nietzsche or was that Jean Paul Sartre? I get the quotes and the philosophers confused sometimes. But you know, people are hell, meaning that, you know, the people around you can be hell. If you lie, what does Bolo say? Your vibe attracts your tribe. So if you put out a false vibe, then you attracted the wrong tribe, and then you have to act, you know what I'm saying, live a fake existence, a false existence. Nobody needs to do that. We only live life once, which shouldn't mean, you know what I'm saying, YOLO, I'm going to do this thing to completely risk it all and mess up my life and my circumstances. But we only live once, so let's live right. Let's do the right thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. Anyway, appreciate
Especially
you, LA.
Not hurting anybody. No, appreciate you. Welcome back anytime.
As always. You have a good one.
All right, you too. I'll see you around. All right, y'all. Going to be it for the show. I had to turn my camera off because for some reason, well, I think it's just all this sharing and me toggling and stuff. It just kind of slows my camera down. But I appreciate everybody that came through and joined in the conversation about anime. You know what I'm saying? Why not talk about something different for a change, right? You know, rest in peace again to the young lady Ash, aka Squid Kid. You know, being an influencer or being in online or in the public in general is not as easy as it might seem or look. There's a lot of things that, you know, come with this, and unfortunately, negative opinions and negative feedback is just, you know, it's one of those things that that kind of come with the territory. You know, you could be doing everything that you feel is authentic to yourself, right? You know, just not doing too much, not doing too little, just doing you, what's more consistent and what's more comfortable. And sometimes it's just not going to be good enough for some people. But just remember that's not necessarily a reflection on you. Okay. A lot of people, like we said earlier, are just living vicariously through others. They are becoming bitter instead of empowered through their experiences or downfalls or mishaps or anything else that they find undesirable. You know what I'm saying? So just because you hear something negative about you or directed to you does not mean it is a reflection of you. So y'all make sure that you like the video. If you haven't, share it out. If you liked what if you like what you heard today, you can always still support the show by hitting the link for Buy Me a Coffee, or also $ the LA Project on Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal. All right, y'all be good to yourselves so you can be good to others. I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.
The world is a real place where things aren't perfect. It's all about the journey. And where are you going?